Welcome to another watch along of Palace's first Premier League game of the season against Southampton. I'm Diyar, joined by Hambo here to go through the game and also get your discussions, get your comments in right before kickoff. So, Hambo, let's get straight into it with our lineups. So, Palace's starting lineup is. You can read it out. I'll put you on the spot.
Okay. All right, fair enough. It's Guaita in goal, Ward at right back, Dan and Koyate centre back pairing, Tyreek Mitchell at left back, Andros Townsend on the right, MacArthur and McCarthy in the middle of midfield, Schlupp left, Ayew and Zaha up top.
Yes, and we've got it down there so you guys can see it as well whilst we're discussing the lineup. So let's get into it straight away. Jairo Riedewald, he's not in the squad. And lots of people are going crazy already in the chat. I'm seeing Rocky Malone says, sorry, absolute negative, hating this manager. Where is Jairo? And I'm pretty sure there'll be other comments coming in. So with Jairo Riedewald, it seems like he's had a very good preseason, but he must be injured.
100%. He's either injured or potentially, self-isolating or something like that because he's right out the squad. You'd understand it. Potentially, we know we're used to Roy. We get frustrated with him. You'd understand double Macca. Just might be something that Roy does. But Jairo would be on the bench if he was fit to play. So there's obviously a reason he isn't. So as much as it's the initial reaction is one of frustration. Jairo's played in every single preseason game. He's done well in every single preseason game. So I can't believe for a second that there's not an injury or some other incident there.
Exactly. And before we go on to talk about the lineups, just a reminder, if you're watching this on Periscope or Facebook, once the game starts, we're only going to be live on YouTube. So head over to YouTube right now if you can to watch the game so you don't miss out during the live watch along. And lots of comments coming in. Hello from Australia from Charlie. Neil says, sod the negativity. Come on, Palace. Kevin says, cheers again from New Zealand. Get in there, you Palace. So people from around the world talking. But let's get into the lineups. First of all, let's start with the defense. Koyate and Scott Dan, there's no surprise there. But it just shows that despite having all this depth in centre-back, we still don't have our players back. And this game, it could be vital because Southampton got very strong attackers going forward where they could target them to because Koyate, he has performed in pre-season and Scott Dan. But then again, they're not our best centre-halves.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, first up, I just to quickly add to what you said. Love the International Eagles. Great to hear from you all. And I think it's also worth noting one of the reason we'll be live on YouTube only is just to keep track of your comments and interactions because we were missing some. So make sure you're on YouTube when the game goes live. But Diyar, you're absolutely bang on in terms of the centre back situation. I've got confidence in Koyate playing back there. In fact, arguably he looks stronger there than he does in midfield at times. But Kelly has come back from injury, but he looked so rusty in the 23s the other day that there's no way we can really risk him from the start of this game. So Roy doesn't have a lot of options, and it just, as you say, it feels weird to say that given how many options we have at centre back. Woods is on the bench and is pretty much obviously him and Kelly are our only real options there. Tavares hasn't played any games as such, and Riedewald, who could arguably have played there as well, is out. So. The defence, we're comfortable with it because it's what we've seen all pre-season, isn't it? Ferguson's still away from the team, so there's Ward is always going to be right back, and Mitchell's played a fair few games now. But as we saw against Brøndby, DR, we had weaknesses in both full-back areas that were exploited, and you just wonder how much Southampton will be doing that today.
Yeah, you mentioned Mitchell there. I think this is a very, very important game for him because Patrick Van Aanholt is back at training, so you'd expect that sooner rather than later he'll be ready and fit for the Palace team. So this game for Mitchell, he has to show Roy clearly how it is, how he can perform, what we can expect from him. And if he doesn't, then as harsh as it may sound, it's unlikely that we'll see Mitchell because, as we know in the Premier League, if you don't take your chances, especially... I think he's done well in pre-season, but if you don't take your chances, you're not going to play. And Roy doesn't like changing about. So I don't know about you, but I think this is a very, very important game for Mitchell.
I think so, yeah. I mean, especially when, if he's got any designs on keeping that place, and, keeping PVA out of the lineup and really staking that claim to be the first choice. Now, so, with Mitchell, it's not like he's not sort of 17, 18-year-old being thrown in there. He's 21. And I think, it's still quite young, weirdly, for a Premier League player to establish themselves. I think sometimes we forget that. It's much more common, other than the kind of world beaters who start making their mark at 16, 17 and 18 at times. Realistically, players really don't establish themselves till they're approaching mid-20s at times. So we do have to be a little bit patient. So it's not all or nothing for Mitchell, but it is a fantastic opportunity that he wouldn't have got were it for PVA's injury and how light we are at left back. So absolutely agree, it's important. But I've got confidence in him today. There's a bit of nervousness around him, and I can see why that is. But I believe in the kid, and I really hope he really shows what he can do getting forward today as well, because it will be important to put pressure on Southampton on the flanks so they're not overloading us.
Yeah, and another thing with Mitchell, which Kevin just mentioned on YouTube, where we'll be going live only on YouTube once the game starts, just a reminder, is that we can't base his performance on Aaron Wan-Bissaka, because Aaron Wan-Bissaka right now is one of the best right backs in the Premier League, one of the best fullbacks. So our expectations have changed slightly, but it still doesn't change the fact that Mitchell has to perform. But Peter Howard says, worrying lineup just joined. Any idea what's wrong with Gyro? As we mentioned before, we suspect that Gyro is out injured, and that's the only reason why he's not in the squad at all. Not too sure where that injury has come from. It's a surprise to all of us here, but he must be out injured. Steven says, surprised that Schlupp is starting. Seems that Roy always likes to accommodate him. I'm not really surprised about Schlupp starting. Let us know in the comments in the YouTube or wherever you're watching it right now. But I'm not surprised about Schlupp starting, because I feel like he's one of Roy's favourites once he's fit. And also, he has a positive contribution to the side.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, first of all, you fell into the trap that I get into. Whenever you talk about Jeffrey Schlupp, you start pronouncing every other S word with a schlur. It wasn't schlupperizing to me. But you're absolutely. He's one of Roy's favourites. But I've been hard on the guy in the past when he was playing central midfield, because to me he's not a central midfielder. But I really like him playing wide left and pushing into the forward positions. And what we saw in pre-season was when he and Zaha were on the pitch at the same time, they had that interchange of position at times. At times, Schlupp would come off the left and go up front, and Zaha would go left, and vice versa. And it's really important to have that kind of tactical flexibility to actually, put a bit of pressure on. We talked all last season about how predictable we are, and that's the kind of thing that you bring in to stop that predictability, to stop that. Their right back won't have it all his own way, facing the same player every single second of the game. There'll be that interchange of position. But, we've seen Zaha excel playing centrally in pre-season and look like the player we know he is. And whilst he's at Palace, we've got to get the best out of him. And I think Jeffrey Schlupp enables us to do that. They link well. They're both pacey. And as I say, they can swap positions pretty well. So not a surprise, I would say, but I do think once Batshuayi and Eze are fully match fit and raring to go, I think Schlupp is obviously one of the players whose position is at threat, with Townsend probably being the other.
Yes, and another player that I want to talk about, I think it's different to Mitchell's case, but he has to perform as well, and that is Andros Townsend. Lots of people in the comments are saying, why is Townsend starting? And I suspect that once Eze is fully fit, or Batshuayi, Townsend is not in the starting lineup, because I just don't see where he fits in if we put them two players into the squad. And rightly so, because last season, Townsend had a very poor season. Very poor season. And some people are saying, like me, I'm thinking, could it be a possibility that he peaked? I'm not too sure. But this game, he has to show Roy that I can still have a positive contribution. Because if he doesn't, he can easily get dropped. When you look at our bench, it looks way stronger than it was at some points of last season.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt, if you want to talk about the peak of Andros Townsend, whether or not you call it a peak and he's just going to drop off, or perhaps you can liken it a little bit to what happened with Punchin, because Punchin was a wide player up until a certain point in his career where he no longer had the kind of the attributes that would enable him to continue playing in that position. And he adapted brilliantly to playing central. I mean, depending on your opinion, I thought he did. So Andros might be a bit of a crossroads in that respect as well. But I think the big thing is, I understand people's surprise that he's starting, and just to back up the point, I don't think he would be, were it not for the fact that Eze and Batshuayi aren't ready to start in Roy's view. But the other thing is, he's in the last year of his contract. He's not got a new one. The chances are, the club would probably do well to move him on if there's an opportunity, if he's not going to be playing, because he won't want to be sitting on the bench and being a squad player at Palace either. But for me, I just want, on the positive side of Andros Townsend, in pre-season, he physically looks sharper. The way he moves about the pitch, the attacking intent that he did have. I was encouraged in what he did pre-season, and I really I like Andros massively, and I really hope we see some form this year.
Yeah, 100%. Andros needs to perform. Let's get some of your questions. No, Batshuayi, we can't hit a barn door. I think Batshuayi, Roy talked about it before the game. He mentioned that he was, I think, self-isolating and he hasn't really trained as much. So that's the reason why Batshuayi is not starting. So you would expect him to start against Manchester United. Eon said, let's go Palace. 100% there with you. Can't wait. Even though I'm not really that optimistic about the game. And I mentioned that, but let's get your score predictions, Hambo.
Yeah, well, I went in our preview stuff that we've done. I've gone with a 2-1 defeat for Palace, but I will caveat that with saying it was before Batshuayi signed, and I was feeling a bit more positive now. But I just felt we hadn't really changed enough, and the injury to Eza and the fact that we would miss so many chances against Brøndby just kind of knocked that confidence a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to probably stick with that and try and reverse psychology of the game, so we get that win. But that's I hate to predict a defeat first game of the season, but I want to caveat with the point that I am actually feeling very positive and confident. I just don't want to change my mind.
All right, let us know in the comments as well. What's your score prediction? My score prediction from the game, has it changed? It's still 1-1. I just hope that we get something out of the game and hopefully we score a goal. Nick says prediction basically what minute for the first sub?
So Diyar, I just want to mention something that as the players are walking out, I just want to point out to everybody, first of all, as you've been saying, switch over to YouTube if you're not watching on YouTube now. Just find Back of the Nest on there. But we also want to say to everybody watching or listening, depending if you're just listening to us and watching the game, we are watching this as fans. Both Diyar and I are used to being in the ground and watching these games. So there's a high likelihood of some bad language and some really immature, stroppy kind of behaviour. I might throw something. Diyar might storm out the room. But we're watching this pretty much the same way that we would do if we were at the ground, other than we probably won't be singing. So just bear that in mind if you've got kids in the room or you're sensitive to bad language. Apologise in advance that we might let something slip. We'll try our best to be on good behaviour, but a switch goes off when you watch Palace competitively, and sometimes you can't stop yourself. But excited, Diyar. Players lining up. Here we go.
Exactly. And Hambo, and I forgot to tell you. Well, not I forgot to tell you. This is a perfect time that we need to sync up once again.
Do we?
Because my one just acted up. My BT Sport app. So
devastating. Because we used our dysfunction advert earlier on to sync our TVs. So okay. So I mean, how are we going to do this? I've got Zaha in picture right now. Now, Roy.
Okay. All right, then you tell me, and I'll tell you when. Okay, I got Zaha.
Okay, so bear with us, guys. So I'm going to hit pause at a point where I can point something out. So in the meantime, okay, it's just switch back to Wilf. Switch back to Wilf. He's looking down at the ground. When you see Wilf looking down at the ground, just him in picture. Tell me.
Okay.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah, this is professionalism behind the scene. This is what we do, but we're bringing you the live experience, even of syncing up.
Waiting. Come on.
Exactly. So I'll get your score predictions in.
Are we still waiting for Wilf to be on screen?
Wilf,
or did you forget?
Yeah. No, my one. Yeah, my one is quite. It's showing the lineups now. But
you just didn't do what I told you to do. I'm back on lineups. When Southampton's team disappears, tell me.
Okay, so 1-0 Barnes 2000. He says 1-0 win to Southampton. Bazza says 2-1 to Southampton. Kevin says, okay, Kevin, I'll answer your question later. Let's sync up, then I'll answer your questions later. But keep sending your score predictions.
Sorry, guys. It's important we do this before we start. Obviously, I think we'll probably be behind you guys. If you're watching on your TVs at home, because I'm having to slow down. They're showing Southampton's team lineup for quite a while.
Yeah. They are.
It's just gone. It's just gone on my screen. How about you?
Okay. You know the best way to do this, Amber? As soon as the game kicks off.
Yeah, I know that, but you could have just done what I asked you. Let's have an argument mid-show. I mean, straight away. All right, listen, I'm just going to go back live on my one, and then you can. When we get a clock, we'll do it on there. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, we'll answer your questions. No question, but Sam says, I hope our forwards sync up better than you guys. Hopefully, Sam, because
it would be very difficult for them not to.
Exactly. There is that, but I wanted to see at least one goal today. One goal, because last season we saw what happened. 31 goals in 38 games. This season, it needs to be different because, all right, cool. We can get results, but that is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. If we scored another 31 goals in 38 games, we need to at least score one goal each game or average at least one goal each game. So hopefully that does happen. Eze is on the bench and Michu Batshuayi is on the bench as well. And Hambo, just let me know when the game starts.
Yeah, I will do. I'm really happy that everyone got a little glimpse of what it's like to work with Diyar, though, because it's an experience.
Just to let you guys know, we're going to go off Facebook and Periscope right now. So head over to our YouTube channel. We'll be live for the game, but once again, head over to our YouTube channel to watch the live watch along for the guys on Facebook and Periscope, which we're going off right now.
Well, there we are. Hopefully we don't lose anybody who's not au fait with YouTube. But players are taking the, we sort of know it as the Black Lives Matter knee, but I think they've changed this season to, is it just stand up to racism? I can't remember what the slogan is. That's not very good of me, but the general Premier League, yeah. Which, so it has kicked off now. Palace shooting towards the family stand area with obviously with Southampton heading towards the Homesdale. A little bit of pressure right from the start, but Palace picking it up quite nicely there. Hopefully you're all able to tune in at home and are relatively synchronised with us. So Diyar, I'm about to hit pause when we hit the 30-second mark. 1, 0, right there. 30 seconds.
Yeah,
Tell me when you hit 30.
Yeah, I'm a bit behind.
So it's now a mystery. I'm looking at a paused screen, but yeah, I mean, there seems to be a fair few bodies in the behind the dugout there, so it's not a completely empty Selhurst, but obviously that would be club officials and things like that. You still not at 30 seconds, Diyar?
No, the game it kicked off like 5 seconds ago for me.
All right, so just shout really loudly when it hits 30.
Yep. So keep sending your questions as well because this is the perfect time. So Saints
right.
wearing evil sash. Terry says, as a tradition, on the first day of a new season, I'll be furiously wanking on the... Okay.
You can't say that word, Diyar. Is it 30 yet?
Yes, go.
Oh, you're unbelievable. See, how many times we tried that, and just every single time you were nattering away, not doing what I asked you to do. Unbelievable. Anyway, so we're back watching the game actually moving. I hate you, Diyar. I want everyone to know how much I hate you.
When I reach a minute's mark, or you've probably gone past that,
let's forget it. I've not. I'm on 51 seconds.
Oh, okay, I'm on 54. 55.
It's fine. We can be 3 seconds apart. I'm not dealing with you anymore on this. Let's just watch the game. So, fortunately, as I don't know if you've got the score up yet, Diyar, but obviously it is 0-0. People do like to ask. As Mitchell clears it up the line.
Good reminder.
So it's definitely, as we expected, it's definitely the 4-4-2. But interesting to see Andros tucked in right in the centre at the moment. And I'm just waiting to see what happens exactly with Jeffrey Schlupp and Wilfried Zaha. Because, it's at the moment, Schlupp is much deeper than Wilf. So it's hard to see if Wilf actually is playing up with Ayew, or we've kind of shifted out of possession back to the old style. So we'll be looking at that closely because we're all expecting it to be the relatively expansive 4-4-2 we've seen in pre-season. But part of me wonders if Roy won't just return to the tried and tested method. So we'll keep a close eye on that.
Yeah, I think he needs to play up front. We saw in pre-season, as you said, 3 goals in 4 games. That's where he was thriving. And we can't have what happened last season where Wolf has so many defensive duties that he can't actually be creative going forward. So hopefully he's playing up front, because if he isn't, then that is worrying.
Scott Dan briefly forgetting how to kick a football there, but we have got away with it. And, but it's a throw for Southampton in attacking place. It was interesting. It followed just a nice little bit of interplay on the left-hand side for Palace. And it's been a feature of watching Palace over many years now that we do have a real bias towards that left-hand side. And if you think about what we're trying to kind of recreate from what people refer to as that kind of Loftus-Cheek period under Roy, where we really were dominant down the left-hand side. We had lots of people overloading that. It was sort of PVA, Wilf and Loftus-Cheek all linking up. And it'd be interesting to see how much we try to recreate that, because we had an overload just a little while ago there and very nearly broke clear, but for a good interception. But yeah, looking like we've got some defending to do here, Diyar.
Exactly, straight away. Let's go. And that's another important thing, because in the restart, our defense just collapsed. It collapsed, and that was our strength. That was our strength going into the season, going into last season, and pretty much for the majority. But this season, hopefully, we will see what happened for the majority of the season, where we have a strong defense.
Corners come in. It was a free header, but luckily no real power behind it, and Guaita saves very comfortably.
Okay,
yeah. So God, yeah, you know, we're talking about the defense and how it struggled, and you know we've seen it straight away there, a completely free header, and disappointing to see that, but we got away with it. And trying to flick on now for IU to get an opportunity, Schlupp flicking the ball on, but a little bit scrappy again when we're trying to get forward. Southampton pressing really hard, and again that's what we've seen from the opposition, particularly at Selhurst over probably a couple of years. We are kind of susceptible to that high press. We make mistakes, and you know we find it hard to kind of keep possession because we don't like to have the tempo forced on us. But very much gone back to, you know, we're talking about the formation, definitely the 4-4-2, definitely Zaha up top, and so that's good to see, and it is Schlupp on the left hand side.
Yeah, 100%. There's no surprise though, Hambo. There's no excuse for that. Yes, we've struggled when teams have been pressuring us, but going into this game, it's pretty obvious that Southampton were going to do that because that's their tactical style under Hasenhüttl. So, yeah, there's no excuse for that type of thing. But Southampton, once again, just going forward and one or two passes, getting into our box, but Vicente is there right on time, but it's not really the greatest of starts, I'll be honest with you.
No, it isn't. You know, you've had Stevens with a free header, and now, you know, very close for Danny Ings to get in. And it's great defended by Kouyaté, getting his body across, but not doing enough so that Ings could go over his leg or anything, but just enough to get that body across so the ball ran through to Guaita. So, you know, positive start for Southampton in terms of getting through our defence. And, you know, I've got to say my concerns of that central midfield too at the moment. You know, we're only 5 minutes in, but I'm feeling kind of vindicated in those concerns because we're getting dragged all out of position. You know, Luca gets a lot of stick, but he retains that screening position really well. But MacArthur and McCarthy both like to get much more involved in other areas of the pitch, and it is leaving a bit of a hole in that midfield at the moment. But let's hope we can see the positive sides of that, the positive sides of them getting involved further up the pitch and in different areas when we can get some of the ball, but not happening at the moment.
Exactly. And Mark Drew says we look nervous, 100%, Mark. But as Hambo said, with that midfield, can you be excited? Can you be excited with a double McCarthy and MacArthur midfield when, you know, yes, they are hard-working players, but when you're talking about the Premier League, you have to be technically gifted. I think MacArthur is one of the hardest working players in the squad alongside Andros Townsend, in my personal opinion. But McCarthy, when you start both of them to, what do you really expect? It's not like I'm expecting something else. I already know with the mindset going into this game that we're not going to dominate midfield because we haven't got strong midfielders. But
I think what this shows, and I've got to defend Roy to a point, because if, you know, Luca we know isn't match fit. He's only played, you know, half a first team pre-season friendly and a bit of the under-23s. So we know he's not match fit and ready to go. You know, with Riedewald unavailable for selection and Kouyaté playing in defence, what options does he have to some degree? So I think in this game we can kind of let it go, but it does show you why the club have been targeting a central midfield player. You know, there's lots of repeated jokes about, Roy just wants more central defensive midfielders, but you know, it shows that we have a deficiency there in terms of being able to pick, you know, a dynamic central midfield, especially if we're going with a midfield too. But there we are.
They're still controlling the possession. Southampton pretty much being dominant from the get-go. Just getting the ball and then taking the time up, going up the pitch, one or two slow passes, going out wide. It's brilliant. Their football they're playing is brilliant, I'll be honest with you. And the Southampton fan that I spoke to on Opposition Preview, he said that this is the most exciting time I've been as a Southampton fan in 5 years. And
Yeah, well, he's quite a young lad, so he won't have too much to remember. But lovely little move from Townsend. He's gone past the defender, which we don't see often. Whipped a right foot across into the box. It's cleared, but out for the first Palace corner of the game, Diyar. And set pieces were things that we moaned about quite a lot last season. But do you think perhaps we're going to score our first corner of the season? Do you think that's going to happen?
It's not McCarthy taking it. Well, first of all, it's not McCarthy taking it, so the odds of us scoring is drastically improved. But it's Andros. Let's see if Andros will practice it. But
left foot is from the right hand side. Did you drop something?
Yeah, I dropped something.
You're already reacting. So here we go. Here we go, Dale. We're just gonna have that moment and watch. Oh, they've gone short. I love it when Palace do short.
Brilliant, yeah.
But it's worked its way back to McCarthy, who awful attempt of a pass, and we've got to work hard to stop Southampton breaking here. We're pressing, which is a good thing to do. Force them to play it long. So we got away with that a little bit. But short corners, I've never really seen Palace work them too well in the entire time I've watched them. And it felt like a bit of a waste there. It was good to work the ball back to McCarthy, but it just wasn't sharp enough. Southampton were really quick to come out and close the space. And by the time he got round to swinging the ball into the box, he'd hurried it a bit too much and just hit it low and way too soft straight at the Southampton defence. So massive waste of a corner there. So hopefully that isn't us setting the tone for the rest of the season, but certainly not inspiring from minute one.
Hambo, do you see what I mean by McCarthy there? It took one corner, even though he didn't take it, but he's not really the type of player to put crosses into the box and corners and stuff like that. So
you know I'm not a fan, Diyar. You know I'm not, and I don't want to be disrespectful or anything like that. I can see the elements of his game that Roy likes, and I can see, when he's playing well, he's pretty effective, and a lot of people have latched on to the fact he's a bit of a nasty player at times and has that little bit of an edge that we sometimes crave. But for me, the technical ability, the passing, it has been there in the past, but we haven't seen it in a Palace shirt, in my view. Injury for Southampton. It was Wilfred broke away, and Stevens has made a good challenge, but he seems to have injured himself doing so, and he's not got up off his feet yet. So could be an early change for Southampton if he doesn't recover soon.
Exactly. Let's get some of your questions. Ray says, when is Ferguson due back? We're not really too sure, Ray. There isn't a specific date out there, but it seems like he's progressing well. But Roy pretty much said that he's been injured since he was at West Brom, and they don't really want to risk it.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a little bit before, but if you just try and apply a little bit of logic, so he's still not in full contact training, so he's had no pre-season. So if you add, if he was to go back to full contact training next week, and then build up some fitness in a couple of games, you're talking 2 to 3 weeks, probably nearer a month before he would be ready to start at first team level. So you can say the absolute bare minimum is a month away. I mean, I'm hoping we'd see him before Christmas if we're lucky, based on logic and a few sort of whispers around the place. But yeah, I mean, obviously we'd love to see him. He's thought of so highly. But it does look like Stevens is walking off the pitch, so I haven't seen yet if he's going to be replaced. But he's a good defender, and if Southampton might have to make a change quickly, that could see us gain a little bit of an advantage, because we've got to try and get a foothold in this game.
Yeah, we haven't had the ball as much as I would have liked at the start, even though it's Southampton. You'd expect to play better from Palace.
Stevens is back on. I'd like to see the team be smart, though, because he has taken a heavy knock. He's not running entirely cleanly. So if we can get maybe double up on him, have Zaha and Schlupp both pushing him, trying to stretch him around and just test him out with that injury a little bit over the next few minutes, and just see if we can't, maybe nick something for that tiny little percentage chance of taking advantage of it. But we've got to get the ball first.
Exactly. Which we haven't had much of during the whole game now. Listen, it's been like a disgusting game, I'd call. It's not like it's only passes. Lots of players just fall on the floor now, and John Moss, is that John Moss, the referee today?
To be honest, I haven't really paid too much attention, but it's a foul from Ayew on Ings. And we know Ayew likes to drop deep. It has the shape of a John Moss about him, so I think you're right there. But it was a free kick just midway into Palace's half, and we'll see Southampton try and patiently build yet again. But as you say, Diyar, it's not the best of games to watch in terms of the quality. but we are the ones that are kind of chasing shadows at the moment. But lovely challenge from McCarthy, taking a bit of stick there, but he's put Andros in on the right-hand side. He's put a right foot cross in, free in the back.
Let's go!
Let's
go! Come on!
Oh,
Will! Come on! Let's go! Wilfred Zaha, what a cross from Andros Townsend. We were talking about a pre-game. What a cross. Back post. Wilfred Zaha finishes it 12 minutes in. It doesn't really matter if you don't have possession. What a goal. Yes.
Well, there we go. Fantastic counter-attack from Palace. It all came from the McCarthy, who we were giving stick, so we're taking credit for that one. All came from the McCarthy challenge, but fantastic run down the flank from Andros. As we said earlier, looking a bit more sprightly. Brilliant calm finish from Zaha at the back post. Right-footed, tucked it in low, just inside the keeper in the near post gap. Brilliant start to the season for Wilf. Didn't score enough, didn't assist enough last year. Brilliant in pre-season, and he's taken that form into the first game. Palace 1, Southampton 0, and we could not be happier, Diyar.
Yes.
Undeserved, completely undeserved, but let's not focus on that point. It was a well-worked move. We took advantage of some space. Southampton had grown confidence, and we hit them with using what we had, and that's just brilliant to see. Brilliant to see, that was.
It's funny how we're talking about Andros, we're talking about McCarthy, but them two were both involved in the goal that we scored. Whew, what a goal. What a goal. And you know what? I'm results over performances, so as long as we get it,
I think we're all results over performances, aren't we, when it comes to actually winning games? But Southampton will try and hit back, and this is a time where Palace obviously have to concentrate and really sort of dig in to make sure we don't give them an easy way back into this game, because the longer we can keep it at 1-0, the harder they've got to push, and then it leaves spaces, because if we can counter-attack like that. We bemoaned it, didn't we, last year, Diyar? We had this team had no pace in it last year. We were just so negative and so one-paced. But what we saw there was back to the days of Palace counter-attacking, and it was great to see how quickly we turned Southampton on their heels. But they're back with possession on the ball, trying to find a way through, and we've got numbers back. Wilf and Ayew are tucked right back now into our own half, and it's Ayew pushing out to force the ball back all the way to McCarthy in the Southampton goal.
Imagine just being at Selhurst Park right now, though.
I miss it. I mean, even then, celebrating, I was happy, but it didn't feel. I mean, I would have almost certainly fallen over during that celebration. You wouldn't know where to go. You'd have been swearing your head off, running up and down the stairs. But we don't get to do those things. We just have to celebrate in our room and probably distress our neighbours quite a lot.
Yeah, but my neighbours, it's 3 p.m. It's fine. It's Palace play. Patricia shout Zaha. Is Joe Ward a good player? Well, that's a conversation for another day. But he's a decent player, yes. But he wouldn't be a starter, I would reckon, once Ferguson comes back. Let's see 8 more, says Mitch. That is a dream, Mitch. That is a dream, but I'm not too sure. I wouldn't get too carried away. Phantom says, we are the second most high scoring team in the league. Am I dreaming? You're not dreaming. This is the Palace that we'll be talking about, Phantoms. This is the Palace that we'll be talking about.
He just got excited. He was a little bit sloppy there. He was offside from us taking a free kick, which is a cardinal sin. But we've kind of weathered that immediate response from Southampton over the last couple of minutes, which is great. But I mean, it's great to get excited. It's great for Palace to be in the lead, and you just want us to capitalise on it now. And just it's a fresh start. We're all desperate to be positive. We had such a negative time during the restart. All of us on back of the nest. We were, we take no joy in being negative about things. So it's great. It's great to kind of have McCarthy shove it down our throats right at the time we were arguing about it. But I'm just going to break away from that ramble to say that Zaha's in on the left-hand side, muscled out of it. It's gone out for a goal kick, and they're sort of reacting a little bit like he did something. Ings is complaining. You know what they do? With Southampton always target Zaha, don't they? But when he's already scored.
You know who it was as well? James Ward-Prowse.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, Ward-Prowse. They had a little, sorry, I moved on. At least they're not fighting, so that's good. I don't want Ward-Prowse to get into Will's head this game. I really don't.
No, I don't. But I want to see Ward-Prowse's rat face full of anger and hate. That's what I want to see. And because we're beating them and because we've shown him up. So that's what I want, and that's what we're currently getting.
Exactly. Southampton just hoofing the ball, but Scotland's got that. Lovely jubbly.
Yeah. Just go back to that Wardy comment. I think we were so close to being in there. I have to it was just cut out at the last second there, but Ayew was almost away. And they're not really keeping up with him. Bednarek, I think it is, he's losing him quite a lot. He's a bit of a lumbering centre-back, is Bednarek. So I think with that pacing and around him, there's opportunities there to be had. Wardy is a quality player, and he's been with us such a long time. And there's times I've written him off personally. And he's always, of late, since he came back into that side when Wan-Bissaka left, he's just grown and grown and grown, got back to a level I thought was behind him. So I don't have any dramatic worries. I just think there's he just slightly lacks the modern day fullback approach of being able to attack it, down the right hand side with confidence. I think he's capable, but he doesn't really have that confidence going forward. And I think he needs Ferguson pushing him. That's what he desperately needs. And it will be a real battle for Ferguson to get into the team once he's fit.
Yeah, 100%. I've said it many times on back of this, but last season going in with one right back was just unfair on Joe Ward. Yes, he did play lots of games, but what if he was injured? And there's also no competition as well. Competition is healthy. This game, Mitchell's starting, and Patrick Van Aanholt is going to be in the back of his mind. When I come back into the side, if I come back into the side, there's a genuine contender there, and Kuyata just went all over.
Not waving play on, but it was one of those really quite obvious fouls. He was literally lying horizontal on the attacker, but pretty funny to see. But no, you're right there, Diyar. So obviously Palace won, Southampton 0, just gone past the 19th minute on where Diyar and I are lined up anyway. And it's been a solid start in terms of getting ourselves ahead and defending relatively well since we scored. But early running was by Southampton. We shouldn't probably ignore that, and they are dominating possession now as we speak. But still holding firm, and we look pretty dangerous on the break. As I mentioned earlier, there was that one little opportunity. Townsend had so close to playing the perfect pass for Ayew to be completely free with a run in on goal. It was just cut out at the last second. So we are dangerous, very, very dangerous on that break. And and the midfield just seems to have tightened up a little bit as well, which is good to see.
Windy says we haven't deserved it, but we lead. Exactly, Windy. I thought we started the game off pretty slow, and it's pretty surprising that we're actually leading in the game. But it was a nice counter-attack, and this is the game plan. Just sit back, let Southampton have the ball, but be more effective going forward. Because last season on the counter, it wasn't where we've usually seen Palace. There was something missing there, whether that was Wilf being too far back, and there's lots of things going on. But 100%, we're being more effective on the counter-attack, but Southampton do have the majority of the ball. And the interesting thing is, Wilf is not playing up front, Hambo. He's playing on the left-hand side. So,
as I said, he and Schlupp are constantly swapping, or schlopping, if you like. And that's just, that was a feature of pre-season, and we're seeing it in this game. And that's what I was saying earlier on, before kickoff. I love that. That keeps people guessing. That means, their right back can't settle because he doesn't know from minute to minute which player does he follow Wilf when Wilf goes inside, or does he now pick up Schlupp, and who does the centre back pick up? Those little margins are so important in football, and we didn't do enough of that last year. We used the word predictable over and over again. Mitchell bombing down the left here, giving them absolute hell. Fantastic work, and that's what I want to see from him. That confidence, get himself forward, brilliant thinking for the quick throw, cut back into the penalty area and just cut out. But great work from Mitchell there. That's good to see, growing in confidence.
That's what I wanted to see him do. Go forward, be aggressive. Show yourself to the manager why I should start. But yes, brilliant.
Absolutely right. But
one target. Yeah, still 1-0 up, one shot on target. I'm just getting some comments. Tangi says 1 shot on target, 1 goal. Is this real? 100% it is real. Palace are leading 1-0 up. Second in the Premier League as we're speaking, even though there's only been 2 games that's been played. But yes.
I demand that we stay there, and I'll have a proper strop if we drop below second this year.
Exactly.
So as I was saying earlier on, that midfield has definitely tightened up a little bit, and we are still, we are still going to surrender possession quite a lot. But it'd be interesting to see whether Townsend keeps this up, because he's had a really good start to the game. We talked about him before the game kicked off and our concerns, and think he'll be out of the team, but. It's funny, we were talking about that competition for places at right back and left back and how that's needed. But with Batshuayi coming in, with us still looking at other wingers and the system change, if you like. Perhaps we might see that motivation change for Andros, and this might be, a new start for him as well.
Yeah, I think he's had a very good game so far, and this is what he needs to do to keep his side. Because you look at the bench right there, there's Eze and Batshuayi just sitting there and ready to take his spot. So. Yeah,
early to be talking about it, but it's an interesting conundrum, isn't it? Because Roy will want to give Eze minutes. He'll want to give Batshuayi some time on the pitch, but we also know he's pretty, conservative in his substitutions and doesn't like to change things from a. Well, so I was going to say from a winning position. He doesn't like to change them from a losing position either. But if let's say we're still 1-0 up, we've kept it tight, and we've got 75 minutes on the clock. Do you see him changing it? Will people forgive him that if we carry on and win the game? Oh, another great challenge from McCarthy there as well. Nearly gets Wilf away. Players look like they're enjoying it.
Exactly. I don't know if he'll change it. I really don't. He's changed the formation since pre-season. That's been a change. Whether he's going to change his substitution theory, where you see him putting on players on the 75th minute, not earlier, I'm not too sure. I guess only time will tell, because McCarthy's not on the bench anymore. You can't swap McCarthy for McCarthy if they're both starting. So what's the substitution going to be? Only time will tell.
It'll be Luca for McCarthy on 72 minutes. That's my prediction for first sub. I think Eze will come on for Schlupp at some point. I think Batshuayi will come on for Ayew at some point. That's my prediction. Yeah. If we use all three. But I've said all that, and then I'm trying to remember the number of times that Roy actually uses all three subs, and it is pretty low. But whatever the case, he's got us set up the way we needed to at the moment, and we're reaping the rewards by being 1-0 up despite seeing very little of the ball. Corner for Palace.
Yes, Wolf puts the Southampton player under pressure, gets the corner. Let's go. Let's cross into the box. Let's cross into the box this time instead of short corners, because we've got some tall players like Kouyaté, Scott Dan, and we could actually give them a challenge.
Yeah, we're going to start our own count. So we failed 1 out of 1 corner so far. Let's see if we can, because we failed 147 last year, didn't we, in terms of corners?
I think it was. This one, so I think the chance of that is very high. Let's hope me wrong.
We did last time. Let's see. McCarthy into the box. That's Scott down with the header, and it was saved low down. It was Ayew was right in there as well. It looks like it's been given offside, so it wouldn't have counted. It was Ayew who was right in front of the keeper. So it is Scott down at the back post, heads it down, because Ayew gets himself across the keeper and swings a foot at it. The offside flag goes up. And had he left that, had that gone in, he's not actually touched it, but that would have probably gone to a bit of a review. But I would have seen that disallowed anyway. We just know that it's going to go.
That was a decent corner from McCarthy, way better than I expected.
Absolutely right. So the more we slag him off, the better he does. So let's keep that going. So
McCarthy is the worst player on the pitch right now. Yes. Sub him as we do instead of Spark, Amber.
Oh yeah. But, yeah. My favourite thing. I love it. I love it when people do that. Hey, Roy. Yeah. Yeah, look. As I say, look, Dave in the Lower Holmesdale in row 4 has given me the subs. Ray, get the subs warmed up. Dave said. Anyway, sorry if you are Dave and you sit in the Lower Holmesdale, roughly where I said I made that up. I'm not getting at you unless you do that.
All right, so Southside says Roy will never change. Windy says, to be honest, Kouyaté isn't playing bad at centre-back. He isn't, and he hasn't really played bad at centre-back during the pre-season. But once Cahill's fit, I'll still have Cahill over Kouyaté.
Probably, but, I definitely emphasise that. He stood out for me today because he defends really sensibly. Often when you get a player playing in what is often their second position, they don't have that kind of the rhythm, so they occasionally maybe jump in a bit too early. But I think he plays there for Senegal, doesn't he? I think that's his position for their team, captains them from centre back.
Yeah.
So it shows how many games he's played there, and his body position, his intelligence on in where to be and when to tackle and when not to is brilliant. But Southampton, Bertrand's on the overlap. He's got past Ward a little bit too easy there. Cut out by McCarthy, who tries to send Andros, but probably unwisely there because the ball's been given away. Andros tackling back well, though, against Ward-Prowse, and it's gone out gone out. I don't know if it's a corner or throw. We'll have to see.
I think it is a throw because James Ward-Prowse is going back. It should be a throw. Yeah, it is a throw.
So uncertain there, Diyar. But yeah, a little bit of an attacking spell for Southampton. Ball across. It's found its way to Danny Ings, but it's been cleared.
Ref.
Oh, that's a cynical foul there. Yeah, didn't like that, Diyar. Didn't like that foul from Romeu, and he is that type of player, unfortunately.
Yeah, but we remain calm, Amber. We're winning 1-0. It doesn't matter. Time is going by. Wilf can stay on the ground. As long as he's not injured, I am not fussed one bit.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'll be honest with you, Diyar. I might have called Romeu a bad name had I been at the ground there.
I'm trying to think. What would you usually say to him? You could say, "Right."
I would have said something unkind. But
there we are. Yeah, good word for now. Score. Actually, I'm not falling for that. Look, when you ask for the score, it's already at the bottom. It's already at the bottom, so I'm not falling for that. It says Palace 1, Southampton 0, but I'm not going to say that again because I know people are going to start trolling. Palace 1, Southampton 0.
It is one of my favourite things, I have to say. People constantly asking what the score is. And sometimes I'll go the other way there. I might mention it 5 or 6 times in a minute as well. But I don't know if you've noticed, but it is Crystal Palace 1 and Southampton 0 after 28 minutes and 55 seconds. And obviously it was Wilfried Zaha with a goal. A lovely little finish at the back post from an Andros Townsend cross after good work from James McCarthy to win the ball back in the midfield. Palace haven't really attacked too much in this first half. It's been a lot of possession for Southampton, but we made it count when we got that opportunity. And ultimately, it's been a measured and professional performance so far. If I'm being picky, I'd like to see us try and get a little bit more of a foothold in the game and play a little bit more expressively. But when the 3 points are on offer and it's the first game of the season, you've got to take them. I think probably result, as you've said, they are much more important than the performance in this first game.
And James has said our passing accuracy is 48%. I don't know if that's true, but if it is, I wouldn't be too surprised. But
it feels like it, yeah.
Yeah, but that is really bad though. So that's not even our possession. That's our passing accuracy, 48%. Wolf on the ground once again. Jonathan Moss, what are you going to say? Nothing, and it plays on. That should have been.
He does indeed. You nearly got in there, so you could almost see the reason to play on, but he wasn't going to give the foul by the looks of things anyway, because we lost the ball pretty quickly after that. McCarthy again. No, so that was Joel Ward that time. I almost gave McCarthy too much credit, so I'll take it back.
Is that not far ref?
Yeah. This is getting very niggly. Lots of fouls going on after the ball has gone, particularly from Southampton, as their frustration's probably grown as we head into the last 15 minutes of the first half. But they've won the ball back, and Palace getting back into that 4-4-2 shape. 2 banks of 4, trying to keep nice and tight. And it's been pleasing to see us not get caught out on the flanks too much, but we are still a little bit prone to being caught with the overlap. And you can see it on the right-hand side at the moment, all on his own over there. And the switch has come. I hate it when I predict things. The switch has come and it's gone into Romeu now. But they're not really getting anywhere from that, are they? That's the thing. Walker Peters was out there on his own. Oh, dear. Famous last words as Ings gets across. Header at the near post and easy save for Guaita, something that you'd never expect to go in. But yeah, I mean, there's not too much, for want of a less suggestive word, there's not too much penetration down the flanks there at the moment. And that header from Ings was off target anyway. So we can remain calm and not think too much about it. But just something to keep an eye on. We'll get a lot of the ball and pulling out to the flanks again this time. A lovely little ball inside. Oh.
Is it? Yeah, that was a nice skill from Roy. And this is what it is. Someone's I think knocking on the door.
It's not my door. It's your door.
Yeah, it's my door, but it's just part of life. They have to wait now because it's Palace.
Why aren't they watching Palace or watching us on YouTube? What's their problem?
Exactly. And maybe
McCarthy had to come well out of goal there to sort of do the sweeper keeper role just to get the ball away after a ball forward from Ward there. If he hasn't come out of his goal there, Ayew is completely through on goal. So, Palace, as I've mentioned already, still very, very, very dangerous on the counter-attack. And yeah, you can see Schlupp and Zaha back to their starting positions again. That swapping going on continuously through the game. So very pleasing to see that too.
Yeah. I'm liking how we set up defensively, but I can see the switch. Even here. We're a bit I think we're allowing the switch to happen, and I don't mind it because when it does happen, we haven't really struggled because you'll see Schlupp going back to help Mitchell or Andros going back to help Joe Ward. So as long as you like that, then there's no worry. But yeah, it's been good so far. As you said, they can have the ball as much as they want, but we're putting them under pressure, and Wilfried Zaha just got back the ball once again from Tyrick Mitchell's pressure, and we're back on it. So I'm happy with it as it is. Keep it as it is. Defend, and then while open.
Do you see, just because of MacArthur, and he's just every now and then just randomly does some ridiculous skill. Doesn't get enough credit for it. We saw it in pre-season where he did a ludicrous drag back. He did the same thing there to get away from a defender on the left-hand side. It just makes me laugh when he pulls out the skills. But you're right there. But that overlap, as I say, that is something we do have to watch. It's all very well letting them have the ball in those areas, but you picked it out exactly, Diyar. It's all about having Townsend and having Schlupp if he's out there, or Zaha if he's out there, getting back and supporting the fullback. But there will be times in this game where they're further up the pitch and they're unable to get back, either in time or in an effective way. And that's where the danger really is. But you can't shut all the danger down all of the time in every single game. That's just not how it works.
Look at that stat. Final third passes, Southampton had 40, and it just went. And I think Palace had around 9 or 3, something like that. So Southampton definitely dominating in terms of final third passes. But saying that, they're not creating much. So they can have the pass in the final third. It's what you do with the ball. When it comes to chances, Palace are way more effective on the counter attack going forward than Southampton are keeping the ball. So as it is, no worries. Keep it as it is. Defend well. That's the most important thing. 90 minutes, consistency. Defend like this and we'll be fine. And Wolf is looking lively. But it's always
right. And he's got the decision this time from John Moss, getting the free kick. Grimacing a little bit. That won't be the first kick he gets this season. Sorry, it won't be the last kick he gets this season. It's probably not the first either. But Stevens with the late challenge. And Palace will get a chance to get a few bodies up in and around that penalty area and see if we can't put some pressure on Southampton defence and get another opportunity here. Patrick's back from golf. He might be joining us shortly, Diyar. That might be good. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully Patrick doesn't jinx it because we've been pretty good so far.
He has got form as a jinx as well. We've got to be careful. I won't mention.
Cheku.
So the free kick. I don't know if anyone was offside there. It doesn't look like it. Looks like Palace have had several runners from deep. Oh, no, that looks way offside to me. I don't think that would have been given if it went in, but we certainly missed a golden opportunity, Kouyaté, in the middle, completely free, as were 3 or 4 Palace players. So, but I think when the ball was kicked, they were probably all offside there, in all honesty.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if he gave offside because the TV cameras didn't actually show anything suggesting that it was offside. But yeah, that was very close. But I think it was offside. Hopefully it was anyways, because that was
nice to see the thought there. Palace had the line of players, and it was the ones who were just a couple of paces off the line who made the run. Just timed it that little bit incorrect. If it just maybe held for a little bit or started a couple of places deeper back, they would have still got in and would have been no danger of being offside. But good creativity from the set piece, and we need to see more of that this year because they can be so important. Will free on the left hand side, switching the play to Ayew. Ayew's free in the middle. Oh, just that little touch. Still got it. There's 3 on him. He's cut it back to Townsend. Townsend running over. He's going to have to try and go on the outside. Can't get there. The opportunity hasn't gone yet, but it is a loose pass back from Townsend. Wardy picking it up. I've ran out of breath, Diyar.
Yeah, exactly. We went forward and Wilfried Zaha, Jordan Ayew was there, but as soon as that happened, you saw like 7 or 8 Southampton players way back and there was no Palace players. So they're clearly worried about an attack.
In again,
on the left-hand side.
Oh, just overhit it, isn't he, Wilfried? He's gone to go past and, again, the defender doing well to get his body to stop Wilf running by. But he's fired up, isn't he, Zaha? You can see it. Perhaps he's playing for a move elsewhere. We don't really mind. But I think he's got to be motivated by the fact the club are getting players in and have changed that system, so he's got much more freedom to express himself and impact on the game, and not at least having the goal to his name already, which really would have boosted the confidence.
Leave down your comments, but this is how I see it. I think it's a win-win situation for Palace if Zaha leaves, because at the end of the day, he's turning 28 in November, in a month or two. So he's in his peak. We could still get £50 million for him. And if he's playing like this for a move, then I don't mind, because he's performing, and that's all you need right now. A player like Wilfried Zaha to perform, which he hasn't done in previous seasons. So it's a win-win. If he performs and if he gets a move for even £50 million, then we get the money, he moves on, we get another replacement, hopefully another younger player. If he stays on and performs like this, then we've got a player, top-notch player in Wilfried Zaha, performing at the top level, which he has done in previous seasons. So win-win for Palace. Yeah.
I mean, absolutely, to a point. I mean, we, especially those of us that have been there with Will from day one since he came through the academy, it's always going to be a sad day, when he leaves Palace, and it's a sad day that he wants to do that and feels there's a new challenge out there for him. But as you say, Diyar, if he's playing well and he's motivated, and I have to say, if we'd started this season with the same system and roughly the same personnel as we did last year, if we stuck him out on the left-hand side and asked him to basically play left wing back for half the season, we'd still see the same struggles with Wilf. We'd see the same frustrations, the same ineffectiveness, the negating of his pace by making him stay in shape. We'd have seen all of those things. This change, this tactical shift is so important to him and what he can bring the club while he's still here.
Exactly. Joe says, sad to see Brighty's lockdown throws no more. It's gone, but I think I missed that on the screen. Ray says,
it's not completely gone. There's still a hint,
Yeah.
But he's tamed it. That's all I'll say.
Ray says, will Mitchell keep his place? Right now, he's been good, Hambo, in my opinion. But it's still a 90-minute game. Is he going to perform like this in the second half? Then we'll see. But yeah, there's a much to see. But what's going on here? What's going on?
Ward Prowse again. Old rat face himself. This time he's gone into the back of McCarthy for no good reason. McCarthy's retaliated with a bit of a scissor kick round him. Ward Prowse squares up like the little rat boy he is. But it's handbags.
Yeah, well, he doesn't think he is. He thinks that McCarthy is just going to sit back and allow him to, push him forward. No, that's not going to happen.
He's a moron. He spoke in their program before. He's like, and people basically sort of asked him, what have you added to the game? And he was basically gone on about, now I've added that bit of nastiness to my game. He's just playing at it. If he squares up against someone who's actually got a bit about them, he's just going to melt away. He really is. He's He's a half decent player, but God, I hate the guy. Just hate him.
What's happening?
There was looked like a dive, but it's a challenge from Mitchell outside the area anyway. Nothing in it, but Mitchell using his body well there, which is good. And that takes us back to the question around Mitchell: will he keep his place? Yeah, my gut says no. Not while when PVA is fully fit. I expect PVA to come back in. I know Roy Height thinks very highly of Patrick Van Arnholt, which is why we turned down the bid from PSV Eindhoven last year, several bids in fact. So we love PVA, but last year of his contract, isn't he? He said that nobody's talking to him or his agent about a new one. So it might be that we'll see a gradual shift in terms of Mitchell getting playing time alongside PVA at times, not necessarily in the same team. I mean, a bit of interchanging of who starts which week and all that kind of stuff. But it is his breakthrough season, Mitchell. That's the bottom line, as you said earlier on, Diyar. I'd love to see him keep his place, but I think it's just got to build up a little bit more experience, and we've got to have that luxury of dealing with the fact that young players can be a bit up and down, and they'll have bad games at times as well.
I'll be honest with you, Amber. I don't see that happening. I don't see that interchange thing happening, because under another manager that could happen, but under Roy Hodgson, unless this is a different Roy Hodgson, which I'm not going to get sucked into, because there's been multiple times where he's changed about and we're saying, has Roy changed his ways? Is he going to give other players more chances? I feel like when Patrick Van Arnholt is back, if Roy prefers Van Arnholt over Mitchell, then that is going to be the case. I don't see Mitchell starting one week, Van Arnholt starting another week.
Well, I'm just taking it back to, if you think when Wan-Bissaka broke in, he took him out for a little while, Roy did, and played Joel Ward for, was it maybe 10 games or so, and then just brought him back in. It wasn't anything that Ward did. He wasn't in bad form or anything like that. He wasn't suspended or injured for a period of time. He just took Wan-Bissaka out for that little bit, probably to let him reflect a little on the time he'd been in the first team. And I think Mitchell probably needs that same bit of care and attention, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. 42 minutes gone, Palace 1, Southampton 0. And we've been pretty we haven't played great. I'll just say that. We haven't played great football, but in terms of tactically, defensively, we've been very good, which is quite surprising in a way because we haven't got our full starting 11 in terms of defense. Gary Cahill, Tompkins, Mamadou Sakho, they're still not playing, and Cheiko Kate and Scott Dan, but they've done well. And on the counter-attack, we've looked positive as well. So overall, I've been happy with the first half. What about you, Amber?
Well, it's hard not to be happy when you're 1-0 up, isn't it? And, we've only got a couple of minutes to keep it that way. There's a few little warning signs, as we've talked about throughout the course of the half. But still, that little bit of space they've got out on the flanks, the fact that they're getting more of the ball. But you do wonder, is the fact that we're 1-0 up more to do with Southampton playing a little bit poorly in terms of creating? Or is it just all about how difficult we've made it for them? And I'm leaning towards the fact we've made it very difficult for them to get any space in central areas. And I think that's to our credit, and it has impacted on our ability to keep the ball and to function as an attacking unit. But we look very comfortable with the counter-attack. And it's a strength of people like Zaha, Ayew, Jeffrey Schlupp, and indeed Andros Townsend in this game. Those as an attacking four, if you like, have really seemed to have enjoyed themselves playing with a bit of space, the freedom to express themselves, and run a defence for once. Great little header there from Scott Dan to cut out a cross. A very, very important time for Palace as Southampton have a corner right in the last minute of the half, Diyar.
You know what I think is happening? I think Palace going into this game, they looked at Southampton. They haven't got any aerial threats. Danny Ings isn't an aerial threat, and I feel like Kouyaté, Scott Dan can handle them well. So I feel like Roy just said, you know what, keep it narrow, let them go out wide, let them put the cross into the box, and like that we can deal with it. But corners, that's another thing. Let's see if we deal with corners as well as we do with crosses. Ball into the box.
We've cleared it out this time. I was just thinking back, you've just said they've got no aerial threat, and I thought back to the free header that Stevens had, and I was like, Diyar, don't jinx it, but we've got away with it, despite what Diyar said. And
cross handle by Kouyaté. Yes.
Yeah, indeed. Still trying to scramble to get the ball away, but it is with MacArthur pretty much in the left back spot, flicked on down the line towards Ayew by Wilfried Zaha. Palace have recovered pretty well from that little bit of pressure right at the end of the half.
That's a foul. Surely he's holding on to him. Okay, I'll take it. It's a throw-in. But Wolford's been enjoying it. Kyle Walker-Peters, who linked with him in January. I don't know if you guys can remember.
Sorry, did you see the All or Nothing documentary where Mourinho says to him, Walker-Peters, would you prefer Walker or Peters? He went, both. Just made me laugh. Anyway. Oh, dear.
Down on the left-hand side, Jordan Ayew against two Southampton players. We're time wasting in the 45th minute. This is very interesting from Palace. I mean, I don't mind, but I don't mind.
Warnock manager again. Anyway.
I don't mind it, but Jordan Ayew is in a corner flag in the 45th minute. Keep up, Jordan. If you can stay there for 45 more minutes, I'll be fine. And I think lots of Palace fans will as well. I think it's offside.
I think we've won the free kick here. I think Redmond got a little frustrated with the fact we're trying to see the half out, and he's actually been a bit sharp with the challenge. I don't whether it's a free kick or right in that corner area, or it's gone out of play. I'm not too sure. We'll see. But a possible opportunity, despite the fact we were trying to play out the half, that last bit of action this half is an opportunity for Palace. It's being taken as a corner by James McCarthy. We had a free header from Dan last time here. Swings it into the box, lofted high and headed back across, cleared by Southampton, and they're knocking it down the line. I think that's the last action of the half. It is the last action of the half, even though Diyar and I are still seeing it live. So it is Palace 1, Southampton 0 at half-time, Diyar. It's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is exciting, but you just spoiled it for everyone that's not watching it, and you spoiled it for us as well. Maybe there's an important thing that we miss. Oh,
it's half time, isn't it?
Yeah, we didn't miss anything.
Sorry, my watch went off and told me it was half time.
All right, it's half time. Palace 1. Zah's showing his chest. I don't know why. on my screen. But Palace 1, Southampton 0. Pretty solid half, Amber.
Yeah, really, really, as we talked about towards the end there, very happy with it. Yeah, could have been better from an attacking sense, and could have been a bit. There's a few little warning signs there, but Southampton finished last season really well. We finished last season really poorly. So for this turnaround to have happened in these 45 minutes, we could be nothing but happy with that.
Yeah, all right. We'll be back for the second half. If you have enjoyed the first half, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And also leave down your comments and we'll try to get them in at the second half. But Palace 1, Southampton 0. We'll be back. And we're back just like that. And we're back early. Yes, we need to recalibrate with Hambo.
I can't wait to recalibrate with you.
And Patrick is also joining us live for the second half. Patrick, look, we've been playing well in the first half. Hopefully you don't jinx us. I said to Amber, hopefully Patrick doesn't jinx us. It's been a good first half.
I may have mentioned your previous jinx history, which you won't be pleased to discuss, so we'll just leave that there.
Wait. What jinx? What? Wait. Can you hear me first?
Yeah.
All right. Jinx history. I flew over for the playoff final against Watford. We won. Semi-final FA Cup. We won. FA Cup final. I'm not going to talk about. So 2 out of 3 is not bad.
Wasn't there a Swansea game that then
0-0, and then Chelsea we lost 3-0. But I'm not talking about those games. But good point, Hamper. You're right. I'm a jinx.
But there we go. That was the real jinx. But I'm sure that won't be the case today. Hey, Diyar, have you restarted your app?
Yeah, it's not loading. Second half hasn't started yet, has it?
Oh, all right. I'm way ahead of you guys, so just let me know, and I'll just pause mine so I can, be on the same with one of you. Because
you might not be way ahead of me. You might be. We'll see.
No, trust me. NBCSN is very good. They're I'll be. This is not a stream. This is a broadcast over here. So anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already actually behind because I've had to pause mine for Diyar already.
Okay.
So, not blaming Diyar for all of this, but anyway, good to be back. So whilst we're waiting for Diyar's app to restart, he might have to restart his internet for all we know. I'll chat to you, Patrick. So out on the golf course first thing.
6:24 tea time. First group out. I was done by 10 o'clock, which is 3 o'clock, and I saw the lineup. Complained about the 2 Maccas starting, and I have an app on my phone, so I actually saw the goal by Wilf. Really nice play by Townsend. Great finish by Wilf. So I'm all caught up, but the lineup, which I won't get into now, really upset me to see it because I feel about the 2 Maccas. I love one of them, but the other one, I need to go to Celtic like tomorrow.
Yeah, we'd just finished essentially slating him when he made that challenge to put Townsend in down the right hand side. So
exactly.
We've kept that up. We've kept the abuse up throughout the half to ensure that he continues to play well.
Right.
So don't feel you need to hold back just because he's playing.
I won't. I won't.
But we also, to be fair, we did discuss. You had a similar reaction to a lot of people, including myself, when you saw the lineup. But
yeah,
I think when you actually sort of sit down in the cold light of day and think, well, if assuming Riedewald because he's out of the squad, he must be
right, must be hurt, right,
or potentially isolated or something like that. And then you think, well, Luke has not played anywhere near enough in terms of pre-season football to start that game either.
But how much has McCarthy really played? I mean, he went away on international duty, but he hasn't really played that much more than Luca. And if I had a choice, I'd rather start Luca for 45 minutes if he can't get through the match, and then put McCarthy on at halftime. Do you know what I mean? But I know what you're saying, but McCarthy didn't play that much more than Luca. I don't think so. But anyway,
I would probably agree with that if we were 1-0 down. But I can't now.
Good point on 0-0. Yeah, you're right.
Glad you weren't there earlier. Would have been even.
Hambo, how we're going to do this? So as soon as the game starts,
I think we'll wait till kickoff. I mean, I dare say it's probably kicked off for Patrick already, but
no, it hasn't. I'll let you know when it does kick off. It hasn't started yet, though. Not yet.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll do 45-15. I'll let you know when I'm at 45-15.
Okay, I'll pause it at that point. That's a good idea. All right.
Yeah. I'll do the same. I'll pause at 45-15. See. But we'll hopefully not bore people with this for too much longer. Let's get it right first time, Diyar. And don't start answering questions in the middle of trying to tell me when it's 45-15 like you did on the first.
On my screen, okay. On my screen, there's no game right now. It's still half-time. So we can take questions.
Mine too. So nothing yet on NBCSN.
I've got Romeo and is that Vestergaard who's come off the bench for Southampton? They've made a change, haven't they? I think that might have been Stevens going off after that knock first half. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I'm back now. So
yeah, Hodgson, I can see him walking. But that's quite far back to Ambers, I reckon. But we're getting not lots of content, but someone said, Frank said, bravo, Wilf. Adam said, I support Crystal Palace, but I actually love Liverpool.
You're not the Palace thing. No, you can't do that.
Come on, man. Pick your team. Pick Palace. Right, so we have kicked off and just waiting for the clock to come up so we can have a little bit of a pause where we'll all sit around awkwardly while Diyar catches up. So the clock hasn't come up yet, so you could have okay. Right, so I have now hit pause at 45-15.
All right, cool. I'll let you know when I get there. I'll say now. but I'll let you know in advance as well.
Yeah, just say now, irrespective of what I'm saying or what Patrick's saying as well. Just shout now when you hit 45:15.
Okay, then.
Assume your pause there, or you've already paused.
I've already paused, yeah.
Okay, come on, Diyar. Just waiting on you, pal.
All right, it's gonna kick off right about
my
now.
God! Look how long far you are behind. You're like a minute behind. We scored 3.
This is my official app as well. It's BT Sport.
Oh wow! Okay.
Okay.
Bad internet.
So is it kicked off yet, Diyar?
Yeah, it's kicked off.
So
let's let them. Always the time.
I'm going to say nothing until you say now.
All right, so 13, 14, 15. Yeah, go.
There we go. Synced.
All right.
Never do it again. Right, expectations for the second half, guys. Let's start talking about it. Do we want to see a bit more of an attacking force in terms of what Palace offer, or are we expecting us to wait for that pressure to build from Southampton and then catch them on the counter again? I think it's likely to be the second one, and I hope we don't concede. Just watching like a bunch of like that.
That would have been brilliant if we just conceded 45 seconds in. Well, my expectation right now, Southampton are starting with a more attacking. Redmond on the left-hand side. Yes, Redmond on the left-hand side takes a shot, goes straight at Vicente Guaita. Southampton, it hasn't even been a minute, but they've started off very strongly in terms of their attacking intent. They've gone forwards, not playing about, not playing that little slow pass of football. It seems like they're going to be attacking us with intent. And I don't think we should. It's going to sound weird, but I feel like we were good defensively. And I feel like if we go with attacking intent, there'll be spaces open. And right now, as it stands, maybe after 5-10 minutes, we'll know a bit more about how Southampton are doing. But right now, as it stands, I'll just be happy with us playing as we did in the first half and let Southampton come at us. And if they come at us, there'll be spaces open for the counter. So that worked pretty well in the first half. So no point changing it.
Patrick, you've done a fair bit of coaching yourself. You think it's quite difficult, isn't it, with the sort of mentality of going in 1-0 up, of how you, God dear, how you deal with the the kind of psychology of that when you come out for the second half. The team that's 1-0 down, it's an obvious team talk, isn't it? It's
right.
Get your shit together. These are the areas you've got to attack. This is what you've got to do better. This is the change that we're going to make. When you're 1-0 up, it's on such a knife edge that you don't want to change too much, do you? Your natural inclination is to say, well, just repeat that for 45 minutes and we're there. So
yeah,
what do you think about that?
Which you can't do, but the point is, you're absolutely right. It's a stick on you do, and I mean, and knowing Hodgins, I know him. We're going to start with exactly the way we played in the first half. Depending on what happens at 15 minutes or 20 minutes, then we might make a change. But for me, you've got to do what you've done in the first half, because with the way that McCarthy and MacArthur play and the way we set up to play, counter-attack's the best way to go for now. But if you bring in, let's say, Eze or Maya at some point, or Batshuayi, spaces open up, then you can maybe go a little more attacking. But I guarantee you, he's not going to change anything to at least 70 minutes. He's just not going to change, unless, of course, Southampton, get a goal. Yeah,
we did our sub predictions earlier on. I was saying the first sub will be about 72 minutes.
Yep,
and it would be Luca for McCarthy would be my prediction.
Right, and then
then you might see 2 more if we're lucky, and they would be
Batshuayi
and Eze as well.
Probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Schlupp and Ayew off for me, and then
exactly. Yeah,
that's how you feel about it. But Patrick, we talked quite a lot about this in the first half as well, and it was the fact that we saw it a little bit in pre-season where when Jeffrey Schlupp and Wilfried Zaha were playing in the same team, they would interchange positions a lot. And we talked about that predictability last season and how even that little change has made a really big difference to how settled Southampton are in defending against us. Wilf has had more space because he can roam, but you have seen that interchange positions as well, and that gives that bit of uncertainty. And does that encourage you that we are seeing something tactically different?
That is a positive. I mean, I spoke about it when we talked about the Batshuayi signing, how Wolf being given a free role is the best thing that could have happened for us and him, because it allows him to do that interchange. That's a bad foul there. Who's that?
Red card, straight red.
Yes. Wow, straight red. It'll get checked though.
No, it's Walker. Yeah. Oh no, that was filthy. It
was bad.
Was that on Tyreek Mitchell as well? Who I think it was, wasn't it?
It is Tyreek. It is definitely Tyreek.
He's anticipated the ball brilliantly, superbly cut out, and just.
Honestly, no, I don't think that's a red card. Watching it again,
I think chances are that might be downgraded.
Yeah, I think it's a yellow. He hit his foot, not his stomach. I don't think that's a red card. I'll be honest with you.
His stuff were out. Look at
I
his stuff.
understand that, but you have to go to tackle a ball in the air. I mean,
and his foot was lower than Mitchell's. It's harsh to give
Mitchell, exactly. He's basically they both hit each. I mean, I don't think that's a red. I think if they go to VR, I think they'll take this back. But he's an idiot referee anyway. So
I'll be delighted if he's sent off. Don't get me wrong.
They're taking it, so
I won't feel sorry in any way whatsoever if he does go.
Right.
I think I don't know.
I think they'll change it, but again, I don't think VR's going to work this season. If they're going to like make those big decisions. He's going to check it himself.
Yeah, they changed it. So this season they encourage,
which is good. I like that.
Because you're the referee, you should make the final decision. So let's see what Jonathan Moss says. But let us know in the comments down below what you guys think. Is that a red card?
It's a high foot. Diyar, you're right, but I still think it's foot on foot. I don't know. If he got him in the stomach or high up on his knee, I would say definitely red card. I think that's a yellow. I really do.
What is it doing?
That's a harsh red card for me.
I'm borderline because it is dangerous. I wouldn't want it given against us.
It is a red card, I think. No?
I think he's changing it.
Yeah, John Moss is he going to change it?
Yeah. There you go. Probably the right call. Without the fact that I hate Southampton.
I agree. I would. You know what? I agree. That's a yellow.
Yeah, at least you went and checked it. That's a positive. Last year,
it is. Much better than last year already. I agree. Better last year.
You have people who's not at the game making decisions for the referee. It was just so confusing. But hopefully they continue that. But no red card. VAR overruled it. Kyle Walker-Peters on a yellow card now and still on the pitch.
And most importantly, Mitchell's back up, isn't he? So
yeah, he's okay. So I want to finish your point, Hamba. You talked about the switching part. I do like it a lot, and I remember going back to days when we had Yannick and Wilf on the wings, and they'd switch swings, and how great that was to see. When Townsend first came here, he and Wilf would switch wings every once in a while, which they stopped doing because apparently Townsend don't like to be on the right hand side. But I agree with you, though. I like the switching part with Schlupp and Zaha is something that I like to see, and it's something that I think is an improvement over last year for sure.
To sort of expand on it, I'd quite like to see when you have someone like Eza in the team and Batshuayi as well, and I'd like to see more of that interchange. If you think Batshuayi's got a bit about him, he can probably play in the channels as well. So if you had Ayew or out on the right hand side instead of Townsend, for example, those two could do the same thing. But that's the kind of tactical flexibility that I like to see. And
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, back to the game at the moment. We had that little bit of excitement, but it's back with Southampton getting more of the possession now as we're sort of ticking in to the 52nd minute.
Talk about the Southampton kit, by the way.
Nope.
For Peru World Cup team. I mean, what is that? I've never seen that. Why are they wearing a diagonal on their shirt?
Oh.
What a great save. What a save by Guaita.
What a save by Vicente.
Oh, my God.
Really close. And who was it? Danny Ings. You just cannot let Danny Ings get it.
You've got to watch Ings.
Next time around, trust me, he will score that. He will score that. That was
we'll see. Save by Guaita. Absolute point blank. Cross comes in from the left. Free kick. Headed down. Wide open Ings. 6-yard box. Great save down to the right by Guaita. I mean, honestly, a brilliant save.
I think it was that's one of those saves that's as good as a goal. It was it's one of those ones that you would never expect your keeper to save it 100% of the time.
Right.
It's the difference between having a keeper and having a good keeper.
I agree.
No names mentioned, and I think frustratingly we were very, very slack there. Just a little bit of a momentary lapse. Dan caught out jumping underneath the ball whilst I think it was Vestergaard who was running in on the ball. So he's always going to get the leap on him, wasn't he? So head down, the fact that nobody was close enough to Ings, disappointing things and a real warning sign. We've got away with it because of a brilliant save, but we've got to let that be a wake-up call and dig in a bit better here. And dare I say, we've talked about it a lot, get more of this ball.
Yeah, and let's get some of your comments as well. Was the red cancelled? Yes, the red card was cancelled. It was overturned by VAR. Jonathan Moss went to the monitor and he decided to overturn it, which we probably agree that it was a right call at the end of it. Kevin says VAR good, Guaita better, 100%. And that's why I don't think we should sell Vicente at all unless it's a crazy amount of money. He's been linked with a move away from the club, but that's died down now. But yeah, a month ago, that was a bit weird to see. The score, oh, geez, I bit it again. The score is at the bottom. The score's at the bottom. I don't have to say the score, but Palace 1, Southampton 0. It's saying at the bottom there clearly.
Diyar, sorry, just to check, is it Palace 1, Southampton 0?
Hamburg, I'm not saying that.
Patrick, I think it's Palace 1, Southampton 0.
I just got a goal. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree.
Do you think it was Wilfried Zaha who scored it, wasn't it? That was Wilfried Zaha in the 13th minute who scored Palace 1, Southampton 0, and it remains Palace 1, Southampton 0.
They're showing the replays right now.
They are. Yeah, it's foot on foot. It's high, but I don't think it's dangerous or malicious. So I think good call. And I hate John Moss, by the way. I just want to get on record saying that.
I don't know what the voice of Dermot Gallagher is saying on BT Sport. I mean, I do know it's obviously backing the ref in every way possible, but I just fall back on the fact that if I take the bias out of it, where I wanted it to be a red card, if I look at the fact that his foot is high and the studs are showing, it's a dangerous worthy of a yellow. But when you consider the fact that the impact is on a foot that's higher than his, and I wouldn't say he's out of control. He's made a genuine attempt to play the ball. He's late and it's careless, but it isn't reckless. If it's reckless, he's gone flying in there with no possible way of getting that ball, and he's got his eyes fixed on the player. Then he goes, but that wasn't.
Yeah, that crosses into the box. The intensity has increased from Southampton, without a doubt.
We've got to do a better job of. We've got to get hold of this ball. I'm saying right now, it's for me someone to get the foot. I'm going to say like Luca, but Luca's not a great passer, so get that. But like Gyro, let's say, to get a little bit more control. We're losing the ball in the middle of the field. We're not doing anything as far as trying to keep possession wise. There's been nothing from IU or Wilf up top. They're just not getting any services second half. It's just all Southampton.
Well, we're starting to see as well that the Southampton really pushing into the spaces out wide and play on John Moss there, and they're in again. Just overlapping and just doubling up on those wide positions where we are vulnerable. They didn't do it enough in the first half from their perspective, and they're doing it again as we feared in the second half in much more of an effective way. And we've got to try and do something about that without negating our play. So at the moment, we're probably in a little bit of a halfway house where Townsend and Schlupp are deeper and withdrawn because of it, but they're not actually making a defensive difference because of it. So we're getting the worst of both worlds. We're getting them less involved up the pitch, but also not involved enough defensively. You've got to pick one or the other. It's a very nervy time for Palace at the moment.
Yes,
but we're still one up.
Yeah, around 15 minutes is gone now, and we haven't had a shot. We've barely been in the half. Every time we've been in the half, it seems like they've just got the ball back. So it's a much different half. It's a much different half, and I don't think nothing has changed tactically. I'll be honest with you.
No, I agree. Right.
It's the intensity from Southampton.
It is. Get a goal. They have to push forward. Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to make a prediction here. I sense a bad challenge from James McCarthy coming. Just sensing something.
What?
What do you think? What do you think? Oh, that's a bad challenge from James McCarthy there, isn't it?
Oh.
You're ahead of us.
Yeah, I wasn't. I got a notification on my watch saying he got a yellow card.
Please, that's what you never know with Premier League. You never know with Palace. We might, if something crazy might happen, please don't spoil it for us.
I won't. I'm just having a little bit of fun. If it was a goal or something like that, you'll see it in my face, but I won't say a word.
This is the thing now here. This is when, honestly, we've got 13 minutes in. They've had all the chances. McCarthy gets a yellow card. I'm looking for a sub right now. I really am. I'm looking to change it up and break. We've got to change something before they score the goal. Because it's coming. You could sense it coming.
Yeah, absolutely right.
He won't do it.
What you sense is one thing, isn't it? Either they will score from pressure, or we'll just get a break. We'll just get some. That's we'll have that one opportunity on the break.
Right.
They continue to push, but I don't think we should be banking on that. It's too dangerous.
Exactly.
There's got to be a shift. There's got to be something. You mentioned it yourself, Patrick. Somehow getting a bit of possession going. Schlupp back up top, and we've seen him up top with Zaha at the moment, and Ayu's dropped deep. So further changing of positions, and which is interesting to see, but not having an impact yet.
Yeah, and as Patrick said, sooner rather than later, you'd expect a sub. If it's not a sub, at least a different instruction. It isn't working right now. And if you still believe in these players, then tell them to do something different. Because right now, Southampton it's getting a bit too easy, and it's getting a bit too worrying as well. Because it's only 60 minutes gone, and we've still got a long way to the end, and we're barely getting the ball. And when we do, we easily get dispossessed. So,
but we're just trying to do one thing: get the ball forward to Wilf. It's just a simple tactic. That's not it's not good enough for me right now.
Yeah, who's next to Wilf? We just saw tried to direct it to Wilf there, but there was no one around Wilf if he did actually get the ball. But it is a throw for Palace. But yeah, that's another thing.
That's it. There were just fewer players who are joining those counters at the moment. But you expect that when the opposition are pushing you back all the time. It is that little bit of give and take. But I think we're all in the same boat. We're a little bit nervy. We can see something bad coming if we don't do something different. Otherwise, it's just going to be a case of luck to see if we can hold out or not. And Southampton keep smuggling this ball back. They get it back so quickly and turn the tables on us. They're playing with a real sense of urgency, and we're just trying to keep calm and keep in position, but leaving spaces on the flanks, leaving spaces in the middle. We're in real trouble here if we don't react soon.
Get it out. Jeez.
Diyar finally switched to watching.
Yeah. Sorry about that, but we're just. When you get the ball there, just kick it out. Just kick it out, Kouyaté. Because they got the ball back once again in midfield. Just kick it out. At least like that, we've got hope of maybe Wilf or Jordan Ayew running onto it. But they keep on targeting Joe Ward. This half, I've noticed that. Keep on the right-hand side, switching it to the left and targeting Joe Ward. I don't know whether that's because they want... Is it Raymond on the left or...
They've got a bit more direct, haven't they, in terms of the areas that they're hitting. So they noticed that we aren't, that we're keeping a shape. So they're just trying to move us around that little bit more. It's a really sensible approach. It's something I would like us to be doing if the tables were turned, for sure. So, but that long diagonal, we're too narrow at fullbacks. Just Slub's got brilliantly there. And that's what I'm looking
for, that one break. And that one good cross, by the way. Good cross, but no one was there.
Well, there were two. It just picked out the Southampton players.
Didn't get there.
Yeah, you had Ayew near post and Will far post, and as I was saying, that that's a goal if he doesn't make that. If
do you know what? Looking at it again, if Ayew cuts across it, he gets it. It actually went past Ayew, right?
That's just Vestergaard is right in the centre of the two. Right. But yeah, so you could argue a better ball might have got there, but the cross on the run was a good one and a dangerous one, and Palace have an opportunity there from a corner.
Let's see what happens. Who's taking? I think is it McCarthy again, or is that?
Of course it is.
Yeah, it's McCarthy. Yeah. Right, McCarthy takes it
to McCarthy.
Straight to McCarthy.
McCarthy
to McCarthy. Yeah. I never say that ever in life, and there it was.
McCarthy to McCarthy. So Southampton once again got the ball pushing forward, but Palace have won it back now. Andros down on the right hand side. But let's get some of your questions. Roy Common says South side. Yes, time for sub to confuse them, says Kevin. If we score next day, we'll take this thing out of their attack, says Sona. Hodgson slouching in his chair, oozing urgency.
I like that.
Good use of oozing.
Time check. What you got on your clock?
62:53.
Perfect.
Yeah. We're all in sync, and my watch isn't telling me anything bad, guys. So. But is Palace with the ball on the right-hand side, taking a throw on with Joel Ward, and we're just looking to try again movement. You think, how have they got so many players back and so many players forward? Southampton, it feels like that a little bit at the moment.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, giving the ball away so easily there again. But this time they've hit it long, and Palace there to mop up, and Wilf almost away from the attention of the defender.
Keep the ball in a situation like this, Mitchell. Just walk for the front. You don't have to rush. Just take this thing out of the game. Take this thing out of the game. Keep the ball
down. Slow it down. Change the tempo a little bit. Keep it. Switch the ball up a little bit. Stop going so direct. A little possession. Take this thing out of the game.
Yeah.
Like here, there you go. Keep away a foul. Just keep the ball. There's a foul there. Just take your time. Yep.
Frustrate. That's what you want, because that's what they'll do to us. Frustrate them, because if it's Romeo, if it's Ward-Prowse, if they're 1-0 up, they'll be frustrating one way or another, kicking the ball, taking the time. So do the same with them. We're winning. You don't have to be the nice guy. Be evil.
By the way, why McCarthy smashed Ward-Prowse in 3 games he played against them? Seriously. One thing I want him to do is smash Ward-Prowse one time. He hasn't done it in 3. Crazy.
You'd have missed it in the first half, Patrick. He did exactly that. Yeah, it was good.
All right, never mind. James, I take it back.
Little scissor challenge round his legs. He got very upset. About
Perfect.
Well.
Okay, you know what? I take it back. That's all I want. Not yellow card, but just remind him that you're on the pitch. I like that. Okay, nice one. Oh, there we go. Me warming up.
Well, this is it. I was just about to say, if you start to look at the players, you start to think about the fact it's the first game of the season. Right. Earlier on, we saw MacArthur and McCarthy. They do a lot of running in the midfield. They are the same type of player, and they do try and do box to box. But both of them, you've got to keep an eye on. I think MacArthur has played a lot more in terms of football for match fitness. So you'd be looking at McCarthy's legs potentially going a little bit. He's on a yellow card. To me, he's a risk in there. So we've got to be the first
change. Who comes on? Who comes on though? That's the question. Luca?
Yeah, it'll be Luca.
100% Luca.
Earlier than the 72 minutes I predicted.
We're going slowly towards the 72 minutes, Hambo. We're in the 60 minutes.
It'd be amazing if I got it exactly right, wouldn't it? I might walk out my front door behind me just in celebration.
I guarantee it'll be Ayu coming out, because then Ayu will walk off with an upset face and very slowly off the pitch. Always does.
He walks off with an upset face after a hat trick. So
that's a good point.
When he scores a goal, he looks upset.
He takes it very seriously, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's fully focused. Oh, McCarthy.
Win that ball. Come on, Schlappy. Don't get out of the way of the ball. Win it.
Switching it. What?
Again, yeah. Switches on every time.
Joe Ward is getting targeted, man. I feel bad for the guy. They just want to target him.
But Andrew's got to help him out then, you know what I mean? And he's trying to, but Andrew has to drop back a little deeper and help him out there.
Yeah, absolutely right. But we know it's not his strength. But he did it relatively well in the first half, and he chose his moments to get forward really well, Andros. But definitely less effective in the second half. That's not a great. What is going on here? This is carnage.
That's not a penalty. Get up.
Penalty.
Get up.
Penalty.
Don't review that. You got to be joking. You can't even review that. That's a dive. You got to be joking.
It was a risky clearance, wasn't it?
Jay Adams
clearance that,
goes down and no one touches him.
Oh, what a dive! That is awful.
No. It's a dive, but it should be a yellow card. It should be a yellow card.
No, I agree. You review that. They are reviewing it, but they give me yellow for that. That's ridiculous. But they won't.
You're not going to get rid of diving in a game if you don't, go against it. You're right now. What? It's a dive. To leave it.
Yeah. He's clutching his arm. What happened to his arm? Oh, that's pathetic. He's clutching his arm because the arm was a bit of contact.
Yeah, he hurt himself.
That was the contact. That was the contact that made me fall over. Because it does, doesn't it? When your arm gets touched, you fall over.
Right, of course, every time.
It's really inconvenient because every time I shake hands with people, I'm down on the deck.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, a little bit of a worrying moment. It's Southampton pushing again. Palace getting bodies back, but really finding it tough to clear our lines.
Really,
the pressure is building. But
take your time. Take your time. But yeah, that could have been at least a yellow. And Phantom says, in my opinion, diving in the box should be a straight red card. Yeah,
it's hard.
At least a yellow.
Ezzy 25 warming up.
Yeah. By the way, just to mention to people at home, you will have noticed that more than ever any other watch along that we've done, we are talking over each other, and that's because it's competitive football and we're too excited.
Sorry about that. You're right.
I think you're going to get annoyed. You're probably annoyed right now, aren't you?
No, it's fine. I keep doing it, so I'm not annoyed at all. It's just the nature of it. You want real emotion from us, and you're seeing it, although we are slightly more reserved than usual. Than we usually would be.
We're very excited after we scored. So there's nothing to be excited about right now. This is my real emotion. I'm like Palace doing nothing.
I'm tense. I'm tense, and I don't know what to say half the time. But because we are just seeing effectively that the pattern of the game is pretty much the same as it has been for the majority of this half, and that's Palace are back in numbers. We've not got a single player in their half where Ayu's just stepped into it. But you know what I mean? We are back in numbers. We're starving the space in central areas. They're getting it out wide, and it's just a case of whether or not they're clever enough to break us from that position. At the moment, not.
But we have to say also, they've only really had that one good chance, the one Aguirre to save, which is, so we are frustrating them. They are getting a lot of possession. I'm sure it's about 70% for them, but they've only had really one quality chance, and Guaita made a fantastic save, which is a good thing so far. So Fingers crossed.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, we've ridden our luck a little bit at times as well. But that's just that's the nature of the game, isn't it? Their opposition's always going to get a chance.
I have to say too, by the way, especially Koyate and Dan back there, because they never played together in a real match before.
Sorry, Patrick.
Luca's coming on, isn't he? We're hitting the 70th.
70. Oh, look at that. Amazing.
Let's see. Let's see if it's going to be the 72nd mark. But Hambo, you might be in for
He's won the pools.
The thing is, I only get things right when there's absolutely 0 point to it. So
nothing to it. Yeah, exactly.
Is it going to be now? You don't want it to be
now. It's 70. This is the 71st technically minute. Some instruction there.
You still got time. You still got a minute or two, Hambo.
I can't believe this is what we're getting excited about, whether or not I'm right about the minute of the substitute. We could be in there. Just short of Wilfred, but good pressing. Yeah, Patrick, you talk. They haven't been in the game much up top, but to still be that switched on, that's another really good sign in terms of the focus from these Palace players. They've not got disinterested. They've not lost heart. And just those little moments there where you see it, and that could have been it for us. That could have been the second goal. And Southampton have got a long way back if we get that.
Am I correct in saying that was probably our best chance in the second half so far? And it wasn't really a chance.
No, it wasn't an opportunity to score at all, but it was a nearly opportunity to score.
Yeah, and it's been 70 minutes, so that pretty much sums up the second half.
It really does. It's been all Southampton, unfortunately. It really has been.
Yeah.
We're still up 1-0, 71st minute, or actually the 72nd minute, Hambo.
We're in the 72nd minute. So I'm waiting for 72 on the clock. That was my prediction.
That's a prediction.
So hopefully Southampton play a wayward pass because it's them on the ball at the moment. Pushing forward. You've got Walker Peters on the ball. Trying to drive.
Come on.
Slut
looks very tired. I would take him out. He's not working hard enough at all for me right now.
So I think, that suggests there's got to be a double change, really, because McCarthy remains a risk, doesn't he, in terms of the yellow card? And you wonder if you're right, Schlupp might not be the first one to go with the way he's playing.
Well done, I
we're rushing it too much. I know we're trying to take them on the counter, but it's not working. Look, another.
I agree. Keep the ball more. Agree. Yeah, then we give him a silly kick.
I'm just going to say that stop in play was exactly on 73 minutes. To the absolute second, right?
Let's see if the substitution happens now.
Unfortunately, for those of you who might not be seeing it, it was a foul on Danny Ings in a very dangerous position for Southampton. So let's see if we take the opportunity to make that change now, or we perhaps get the defending out of the way first.
Never sub on a defensive corner or free kick. That's my coaching thing. I said Mr. Hodgson agrees with me. You can't sub him on now. Too disorganized.
It's not happening now. Sorry, Hambo.
Yeah.
You're close.
I will accept that for the good of the team, I can be a little bit out in terms of timing. I don't mind that.
Now you nailed it, mate. You're going to nail this one. Watch this. And unfortunately, let me not say it.
Yeah, please don't say anything. So Southampton are lining the free kick up. Bertrand's looking at it, and rat-faced Prowse is looking at it. Let's see what happens. Is Prowse with it? It's over the bar.
Yeah, you rat-faced Wally.
well edited.
I know. I'm going to use.
All right.
We've got for a goal kick, and we might.
Hopefully, the substitution as well. Take your time. I've said this thousands of times. Take your time. Luca's coming on. Hopefully, Luca. This is going to be a big season for Luca because last season I was not impressed one bit with his performances. Hambo, I know you'll disagree, but this season he has to be more effective in the game. Perfect time. 15 minutes, fresh legs. Go and do your thing now in midfield. Make sure you have the control over the game in midfield because
I'm still very, very happy with the sub prediction there. I mean,
it's excellent. Seriously, you nailed the player on and off, and you nailed the time. You're off by a minute only because of that free kick. That's very impressive. But that just shows you one thing: how predictable our manager is. Seriously, that's terrible. That's so terrible that you can actually do that and not.
But in fairness, it's the right change. I'm not gonna.
No, 100%. I agree with you. But the fact that you actually nailed it so well is, and you're gonna do that next week, week after, the week after.
There we go.
You think you would think with a new season you would have changes, but we're used to it. We're used to the substitutions.
Well, let's see the difference it makes, because we desperately needed some fresh legs in the midfield there, and we've got an opportunity here. Luca's gonna take this free kick, and you talked about it, Diyar and Patrick. We want to see better from Luca, and I'd certainly agree with that. I just felt the criticism was overstated last year. Sometimes the players are unspectacular and they don't.
That's a good ball, Jordan.
Ayu's header was a little bit weak and picked up by McCarthy. So that's got Dan just tapping the ball out of his hands to stop him making a quick roll out there. But anyway, came to nothing in the end. But yeah, Luca's got some work to do to change people's minds. But yeah, like I said, I just felt the criticism was just over the top. He was performing the actual screening role that he's there to do perfectly well.
All right, we'll see this season, Amber. We'll see this season. You said that about last season. We'll see this season how effective he is. I'm pretty excited about games.
It depends what your expectation is in terms of what you're judging him against. I think it was interesting when we talked, and I'd asked that question of people on the show. Excuse me. And say, well, what's the problem? He gives the ball away too much. So we'd then watch a game and he wouldn't give the ball away. And it was, he passes sideways and backwards too much. And then he'd be the one making the forward passes. And it's like people have a perception at times of what the problem is. I just think, to me, it was a whole collection of things. The team weren't playing well. His set pieces were poor. And he didn't get the same sort of amount of penalties and free kick shot opportunities that he had the year before. So the slight dip in form was exaggerated to a complete falling off a cliff kind of dip in form. That's just how I felt about it. But I would 100% agree with everybody who says he's got to do more. This lad coming on, he's good, isn't he? Gineppo was a real danger last time we played Southampton. And Smallbone, who I thought had a good game for them, despite his ridiculous name. I thought, they've.
I didn't notice his name is actually Smallbone.
But positive change for Southampton, and one we've got to keep an eye on for sure.
Smallbone. Oh, what a name.
Sorry.
Chris says, I'm glad that Rector's fault is coming off. And I've always been a Luca fan. Would have him in first 11 every single time, irrespective of last season. But yeah, Chris agrees with Chris. I think the
Chris is always stick together, mate. We discuss it in all our meetings.
But they've had a substitution around the 75th minute mark. Do you guys think that we should have a substitution maybe going forward, that maybe Jordan Ayew off for Michi or Eze come on, because
yeah, Schlupp for Eze.
I'd make a double. I'd beat Michi on for Ayew, and I'd take Schlupp off for Eze, but he won't do it.
Yeah,
well, as I say that, Eze puts on his shirt and really so. I'm like a soothsayer. Look at that.
Like an anti-soothsayer. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
But that was my second sub prediction. It would be Eze on for Schlupp, and it was gonna be later in the game after the others. So I'm feeling good about my predictions. And if Batshuayi comes on for Ayew, I've got a 3 out of 3.
Wow.
But what I will say is I had the same doubts as you, Patrick, watching the game, that because we were under the cosh, Schlupp's defensive sort of abilities might keep him on the pitch.
Right.
So we'll see what happens in terms of who actually does come off. But yeah, I mean, as you say, Schlupp looks tired, doesn't he?
He's working hard, but he's definitely lost a step in the last. He just thinks he's sucked into the middle, which I guess that's tactical, which is fine. But he just seems to me to be off the pace a little bit. But like I said, hopefully, I'm wrong. But I'd love to see Eze come on for him. I really would. Oh, and somebody went down just there.
Honestly, it is really bad going forward.
It's terrible.
Have we had a shot from open play? I know we've had shots coming from corners and free kicks, but going forward, just open play, have we had one shot? I can't remember.
I don't think we have, other than the goal, which was obviously a goal from open play as well. But Townsend there was really slack. But Schluppy's in on the left hand side. His cross is blocked out for a corner. And you think, if we're going to change something, this is the ideal opportunity to do it, because an attacking corner gives a little bit of uncertainty to the defence rather than when you're defending a set play. So, it'd be good to see it now. I suppose Townsend's another candidate who might come off, and you might see put someone else switch over to the right hand side and a bit of a
could do that
shift as well.
Could, but I think Townsend did Ward helping him out. But we'll see. Good point, though. Definitely an option.
Right,
And we know how much he loves Schlupp, so.
Just saw a wasp getting very close to Jordan Ayew there. Can't blame him. Ball in from Luca, straight onto the head of MacArthur, but there's no power and no direction. Opportunity if it's, but if you're thinking about a headed chance, you're not hoping that Jimmy Mack is there, are you?
Yeah.
Time check, Diyar.
I'll tell you when it's 50 now.
And who's coming on? Who's coming off?
It's Jeffrey Schlupp for Everett. 80th minute. There we go.
Love that sub. Should have been 5 minutes ago, but I'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it now. We saw one.
Really should have been 5 minutes ago. It really should have been, but whatever.
I'm excited.
Patrick.
I'm excited about Eze this season. I don't know about you guys, but I think he's getting stepped on a bit.
You have to be excited about him. You have to be.
Yeah, but us Palace fans, we're excited. I'm excited, but from other fans, just looking in, not really that many people are talking about the signing of Eze and what he could potentially be. So,
it's interesting, like Diyar, you say that, but if you look at the sort of the journalists, if you like, there's people talking about it as one of the biggest signings for the Premier League in terms of the excitement level and the potential there. There's a lot of people in the game talking about what that kid can do and how he's likely to develop. So there's been some positivity, but like you say, particularly fans of the big clubs, they're not really looking at that.
Keep it. There you go.
Yeah.
All of a sudden now, there we go. About 4 or 5 passes now. Eze's on the pitch. There we go. See how easy was that?
Oh, we're in. Leave it, Will, because you're off.
Have to score.
Go on,
Have
Will.
to score.
Yeah. That's what we're talking about.
Let's go.
Offside. I thought he was off. I hate being right.
Are you joking?
Ayew was onside, but I thought Wilf was about 2 paces off. Let's have a look.
Oh
no. Yeah, Ayews on. Wilfred.
You can't tell. You might be right.
There's one player in the centre who might have played him
right.
on,
Yeah.
I thought Ayew was onside. Wilf wasn't. I screamed it almost at the time, but he's finished. I don't think they're going to review, are they? Are they checking?
Checking for offside.
Wow.
Yeah, you might be right.
Look at the player in the centre, though. He was the deepest for Southampton. It was really hard from that angle to look and see how they were lined up. So let's have a look. So he's beyond. There you go.
In a circle, you might be right. I
think he's played him on. I think we're all right here. Looking at that, we're all right here.
Yeah.
Townsend's off for sure. You're right. Are you and Will flip that to run? I think you nailed it, Hambo. I think you're right. Come on, fingers crossed.
Actually, the only thing I got slightly wrong is you could probably give Ayew off because his knee sort of is right on that line.
I hate that rule, though, the knee part, but you're right.
But it depends. If they're looking at the only problem you've got is if they're looking at Wilfred Zaha's hip, because it's leaning forward.
Lean that way, it's making a run.
This is going to be one of those where they're going to draw these lines, and I'm going to start swearing because I swear they're making it up.
He's still
he's on.
I told you. It's on shoulder.
Are you joking? This is so stupid. This is offside rule is so stupid. I swear. Shoulder.
His shoulder. What should he do? Lose muscle? What do you want him to do?
I swear to God, if he scores with that shoulder, they give it. They don't give the goal. So for offside.
Offside.
Anyway, it was a great finish by Wilf. It really was. Good finish.
Yeah. We're still winning though, guys. It's still 1-0 Palace, and there's 7 minutes plus injury time left to go. I mean, we've seen it time and again with VAR with the stupid lines. It's frustrating when it goes against you. In a lot of ways, it's still frustrating when it goes against teams against you because it just gives you that feeling that it doesn't feel quite like football anymore. If we can ever go to a point where we just look at feet, I'll be probably happy. But there we go. It is what it is. We're still 1-0. We don't get the goal that was. You couldn't say we necessarily deserve it on the balance of play, but in terms of the move, in terms of the positivity, and in terms of the instant impact of Eberechi Eze as well, it would have been fitting reward in that sense.
Yeah. No, that's right for Schlupp. Just want to say that was too easy though. Did you guys it was too easy the way that you lofted it and there was no one there. It shows how much of a high line they're playing. So hopefully in last as they're going forward, put balls in behind the defense, and let Wilf run. Let Wilf and Eze, he's got fresh legs, run onto the ball. But he's offside by his shoulder. I lost fantasy football points. That's what I'm annoyed about.
Oh my
mate,
God.
me too.
Effective, mate.
In fact, no, I didn't.
I
I
keep
changed
running,
one.
I'm not playing this year. Done with fantasy football. Boring. Boring.
It's because you did win, isn't it, Patrick?
Good for you.
You're ultra competitive and you can't handle it. That's what it was.
Right, yeah, I hate losing. You're right.
God. Shane
Uh-oh.
Long.
Here comes the little worm. Oh, God. 85th minute. Here comes Shane Long.
Professional diver, Shane Long. And he's just one of those players. Just hate him when he's in the opposition team. And he has got the most punchable face other than Ward-Prowse in history.
They both have two punchable faces. I agree. Very, very punchable. I'm not a violent man, but you know what? In their case, I'd make an exception.
Glad to hear it, Patrick. Anyway, Palace dropping deep back into their shape again as we try and see out this last 5 minutes and see if there's an opportunity to break as well. Free kick's been given there. That seemed a soft one. Luca's looking a bit resigned, so maybe there was a late contact there, but another opportunity for Southampton. They got a set piece 33, 34 yards out, whether it's a shot or whether it's an opportunity to pile a few players in, not so sure. But Palace got to switch on again here. Try and protect this 1-0 lead.
Yeah, if you guys are also enjoying the stream, make sure to leave a like. I've pretty much enjoyed this. It's been crazy first season back. And yes, 5 minutes left. Leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future content. And hopefully we can hold on for 5 minutes plus additional time to get our first win of the season, which none of us expected it. Well, me and Chris did, and I'm not too sure about Patrick. So yeah, let's see what happens.
Well, we got the Palace score right so far. It's just the Southampton score I'm delighted to be wrong about. Ward-Prowse has taken the free kick, another one high and wide. He's been terrible with his shot so far.
How is he in the England team? Seriously, how is he make England? He's horrible. How is he in the England team? Seriously, this kid.
There's a reasonable bit of technique there, but he's just yeah.
I can't.
Well, mind you, England have been doing well, haven't they? So.
Yeah, good. Great point. What am I saying? Right, England of all teams, the great Gareth Southgate.
Well, I just knew like a frustrated dad. I don't know how to describe it, but a frustrated dad watching his son play football.
Whilst we're waiting for Guy to take this goal kick, which he's just done, by the way, just to point out, we also do have a podcast. Diyar doesn't like to mention it because he's not in charge of that, but we do have a podcast. It's what we've been doing for 10 years. Don't worry about it, Diyar. You just don't mention it, mate. So we'll be recording that tomorrow. He's not even paying attention to me now. Look at him.
No, I am paying attention.
So check it out on your podcast apps. Just search for Back of the Nest. There will be a video version as well. So join us for that tomorrow. It should be out towards the evening tomorrow, reviewing this game in full and talking about various other bits and pieces. And if you do have comments and questions for that, you can email hi@backofthenest.com.
Oh my gosh.
Go on.
I'm telling you, Eze makes a big difference on the pitch. I'm sorry. He just does. He makes a big difference on the pitch. Just having him on the pitch, I'm telling you, he makes a big difference. He's another outlet. He's very calm on the ball. He makes very smart decisions on the ball. I'm telling you, that kid on the ball, on the pitch makes a big difference. I'm so excited to see him play this year. I really am. Yeah,
absolutely. We just made some sounds there and didn't really describe what he did, but it's just that calmness and possession. And also you can see the vision, can't you, that he's got. He's one of those players who's got this natural kind of 360-degree vision of the whole pitch. And that just gives him that calmness. And he can wait a pass perfectly. Very, very unlucky not to put Zaha in. Zaha actually got to the ball first because it was so well placed and paced. But a couple of challenges in there just crowded him out. But Palace on the attack. I share that excitement. You know, it's only a quick 10-minute cameo, but you've got
exactly.
When he's fully match fit, you know, he's going to be started every week, isn't he?
We're time wasting, and I love this. I love time wasting.
This is good to see.
Exactly, because what game was it last season that we didn't time waste and we conceded in the last minute at home? I forgot. It might have been against Wolves.
I blocked out last season, Diyar.
Yeah, please don't remind me. I remember the Benteke Ayew thing in the corner when fans are still allowed to play. But that's the one I remember. We did a great job time wasting. West Ham was that maybe? I remember. West Ham.
It's got out for a throw. It gives me an opportunity to ask Diyar something. Diyar, you were told to remove this.
Yeah, it's in his right in Handball's face. Must be down here.
Another one of your tactics to undermine me.
You got this conspiracy theory that everything's against you. But this is what you do. You put your head. If you're like that, then it's fine. But
I'm animated. I'm excited. I'm watching Palace.
yeah.
Anyway, so we're 89th minutes, ticking towards the 90th. Southampton just moving. You know, they're starting to panic.
I love Chiarte. I just love Chiarte. I don't know what it is. I love Chiarte.
Did you see his picture on the Palace Twitter with the balloons?
That scary picture.
Yeah,
he's holding them there, just creeps out of them, and has that insane smile. He is a terrifying, terrifying man.
Love it,
but a very, very, very fun man. Yeah. Let's say on the ball again on the left-hand side here, looking ahead for options.
Just keeps it calmly, makes a pass. I mean, you got to be kidding.
Can't get it off him. We're all getting excited, but I love players who are comfortable on the ball. And
exactly, we missed that. We haven't had that in such a long time since probably Kabay, right? I mean, honestly,
it's why I love Max Meyer, and it's why I want him to do well, because he's exactly the same. He might be small in stature, but if he gives the ball away, it'll be because he's trying a pass to someone. Usually, he's not on his wavelength. If you think like I do, but
half the other team.
But having Eze, who's being trusted to do that. That makes a huge difference, and it will just bring everybody else up as well. Although he was offside there if the ball had gone through. Come on, mate, focus.
6 minutes of added time, by the way. Not too sure where they've got that from, but let's just hope that we hold on.
Again, look at this kid. Eze, I'm getting this. I'm getting his. I wasn't getting a shirt. I'm getting that shirt now. Eze 25 is going to be ordered after we get off this along.
You've retired now. You're gonna have to have things to fill your day. By probably week 4 or 5, you're gonna have an Eze chest tattoo.
Oh, actually, I've got a part-time job now. So
have you?
Yeah, I'm directing an after-school program, which I absolutely love so far. So yeah.
Oh, amazing!
It's brilliant.
Right, so it might be after Christmas by the time you get the Eze chest tattoo.
Yeah, you're right.
Come on,
Palace.
Who's your man of the match? Let us know who's your man of the match for the game, and we'll tell us after the final.
So Townsend's got this back. Eze in on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Tries a little cross across.
Corner Palace. Clock. Run that clock down.
It's seen Ayew's movement as well. You could see the little frustration in Ayew if the ball hadn't been cut out, because it's almost like that sort of telepathic sort of thought process, if you like, because it's the perfect cross for the run that Ayew's made.
I agree. See, he jumped up in the air like, I would have had that. Yep, I agree.
Yeah. Good stuff. Like to see it. Nice little short corner. Wasting a bit of time here in the corner.
Yes. Jordan. Is that not foul?
He's giving the goal kick.
What?
92 minutes on the clock. 4 to go. Well, just under 4 to go. Southampton. Desperation kind of kicking in now. They've not got too many players back. That whole incident just then was all about the fact they've only got a couple of people back, and we pushed them with 3 up top, and we're trying to just turn it around on them. Every opportunity we get. Wilfried Zaha move to the right-hand side here.
There you go. Yep. Let him chase. Love it.
Moving it around so well, so confidently now, which is great to see. And on the ball again. He's passed.
Oh my
God. He's coming down.
It's so exciting to watch.
He dropped.
He's like Wilf Jr. He's like Wilf Jr. Watching Wilf Jr. I love it.
That is rude.
He is. He sat him down. He's laughing. Look at him. He's smiling.
Wow. Look at him.
If you didn't see it, Eze's on the left. He cuts inside. He turns Walker Peters all around. He tries to get grabbed by him, and then he puts a great cross to the back that no one got to. But just brilliant skill by Eze to beat.
He has taken Walker Peters' soul there, hasn't he? It's just
it really
it made him fall over. It's just
It was an ankle breaker. I haven't seen much at football, but normally you see them at basketball. But yeah.
Ankle breaker in football means something different, doesn't it? It's usually James McCarthy challenge. McCarthy's.
McCarthy, not McCarthy.
I did it. I said McCarthy. No, it's McCarthy. There we are. Anyway, we're 2 and a bit minutes left. McCarthy taking a goal kick for Southampton. They're smashing it long, going very direct, but Palace mopping things up pretty well. This time Walker Peters is free down the right-hand side. He's put a cross in, deep-headed, clear, but we're not getting it out. Oh, this is nervous times. Lovely little interception there. And ball is down the left-hand side for Wilfried Zaha this time. Kick and run. He's gone right.
Go on.
He's got to take it.
Go. Oh my days. No way.
Oh my days.
No
Wilfried 1-on-1 with the keeper. Hit netting. Great run by Wilf. Was actually fouled, played advantage, ran by him, and left-hand side, tried to shoot footed. Unfortunately, bad angle.
Yeah, shame.
94 half minutes in.
Finish on that.
It's just not enough people up with him for an option, so we have to take it. Oh, great save from Christ. Yeah.
I love Vicente Guaita.
We'll talk about a man of the match in a second, but he might be on mine. He might be mine.
It's him.
But yeah, that will
Ings again. He's so dangerous, though. Respect to Danny Ings. So dangerous.
Final minutes of injury time. Alex desperately trying to hold on. Corner from Southampton here is whipped into the box, headed clear at the near post. Is that Andros at the near post?
It was.
No.
Well done, Andros.
Yeah.
Great job.
Here we go.
just have to clear it.
Sorry, we've gone quiet because it's tense. Eze trying to step away with the ball, nice and calm. Great pass to beat the defender, but just not quite the right pace for Zaha to catch up with it, and gives the ball back to Southampton as they chase a goal. But let's hope we can hang on. Ball into the box. It's a little up, almost a sniff of an opportunity there at the back post, but Palace is still. Stop it, Patrick. Stop it. Just because he got the same alert I did, it's fine. We're still playing.
Come on! Let's go!
Yes, let's go!
It's over. 1-0 to the Palace. Come on! We are top league. So we are top league. No, we're not Arsenal, but whatever.
Yeah. Second.
Brilliant.
But I can't say I really tried hard to act at the end there, Patrick.
I know,
and you just
didn't. I know.
Yeah, did you?
I
didn't care.
I couldn't. I'm sorry.
Fantastic win. Performance, we'll talk about that in our podcast tomorrow, won't we, Diyar? The podcast. Remember that podcast that we do?
I don't know why you like I don't talk about like I've got agenda against the podcast. I'm on it as well.
I'm only teasing. But fantastic win. I suppose, Diyar, we best sort of wrap this up and talk about our immediate thoughts, though.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. So 1-0 win. I didn't expect that. I thought a draw would have been a good result. Patrick, I'm going to go first to you because you're over the moon. What a win for Palace. No one really expected it. Southampton fans were very confident going into the game. And that's exactly how we should... That's exactly, there's no better way to start the season than this, really.
No, great win. We haven't been Southampton since Benteke scored about 3 seasons ago. They always come here and beat us. I'm ecstatic. I'm not happy with the tactics. Don't care about that. All about the win. Guaita was brilliant. Wilf played really well, even though one of them didn't count. Loved Eze's little cameo. Credit to McCarthy and MacArthur. They actually did really well in the middle. Love Chiarte. And then for me, man of the match has to be the Guaita. Made 2 brilliant saves. And we talk about it all the time. We goalie that can make saves that wins us points. For me, Guaita saved us 2 points. So brilliant win. I'm happy and I can't wait. Really, great job.
Before I go to Hambo, David, the podcast is called Back of the Nest. It's the same as our YouTube channel. It's called Back of the Nest. It'll be on our YouTube channel and on your usual podcast platforms as well. So whatever you prefer, if you prefer to listen to us or if you prefer to watch us speak about Palace, it's up to you. It'll be on our YouTube channel and on your usual podcast app. It's called Back of the Nest. The same thing, nothing different. So Hambo, let me get your thoughts on the game. Going into the game, you didn't expect to win. Before.
I didn't, because I chose to stick with my negative prediction made before we made the Batshuayi signing because I just felt more comfortable with that. I didn't want to, but I mean, I went into the game with a really, in a positive mood. And if anything, the kind of start of the match ruined that because, we very much handed the initiative to Southampton, but there were some strong performances in the first half from Palace as well. Let's not forget. I think Townsend had a very good first half. And I think the midfield performed better than I ever thought it would in terms of McCarthy and MacArthur in there, with McCarthy being a particular surprise. But, I'd agree with Patrick in terms of the man of the match. I think Guaita just, those saves are so important to us because in reality, we conceded enough position, conceded enough chances for Southampton to feel aggrieved that they didn't get anything from the game. So, and he was the difference. He was the reason that didn't happen. So he's got to get man of the match. But really impressed with Wilf as well. Much more like his old self. I think Ayew did a lot of running and a lot of pressing that probably went a little bit unnoticed. Extremely happy with him as well. And you've got to just, nothing but joy from that little cameo at the end from Eberechi Eze. It was just that, it's just inspiring to see someone like that come in and fit in so easily. So, it gives you that bit of joy for the season ahead. That you start thinking about the possibilities. And with the club talking about strengthening further, that's a fantastic platform for game one of the season.
Yeah, and I'll end it like this. Going into the game, I expected a draw. I thought a draw would be a good result considering how bad we ended the season last time around. And yeah, Palace surprised me and Roy Hodgson surprised me because, yes, I wasn't surprised about the 4-4-2, but in that 4-4-2 formation, you saw Schlupp and Wilfried Zaha switching occasionally, which we didn't see last season. So that was a massive positive because they gave the defenders something to think about. And also in defense, this is not a strongest lineup. You have to remember that. This is not a strongest lineup, but the defense, for the most parts of the game, they look solid. They look very solid. And, Cheiko Kiate, he's not our starting centre-back. And Scott Dann, he's been out injured for a long time, came back last season, performed well. And both of them look like they're starters for us. So this gives Roy Hodgson something else to think about. And we'll talk about it a bit more on our podcast. But yeah, I'm very impressed by the squad. And make sure to check out the podcast and come along for the next watch along next weekend against Manchester United, where hopefully we can at least get a point there. And until next time, up the Palace.